here we go, back once again with another episode of the Uncivilized Arts podcast. I'm your host, Blumi Hazan, but I go by Bandit. Hey, online space. This is the podcast where we talk about all kinds of geeky things, shows, movies, games. Today, we're going to be talking about Ironheart, the Disney Plus mini-series of 6 episodes, starring Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be getting to all kinds of spoilers and what we think about it and going in as depth as we possibly can with that show. Before that, we'll do like a little brief non-spoiler review type thing. But before that, today we have a full cast, full crew, full house. That's full. We
Full
got
party.
Sweet Bundy, full party. There we go. We got Sweet Bundy. We got Celeste Orchid, and we got myself apparently too. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Celeste?
Doing good. Right before we started recording this podcast, I was eating my birthday cake. So we all know that I'm a year older.
I believe I know how old you are. I won't say it because I'm not sure.
Oh, it's okay. I posted out there. So if you want to guess right now, it's fine.
It's not quite the big one, but I think it's maybe a year away from the big one. 2 years away, or is it in the big one? 2 years away.
2 years away.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's okay. I'm well past the big one already, so it's all good.
It's so young. It's fine.
In fact, I just realized the order in which the screen is set up. We've got myself on the left as the oldest. We've got Celeste in the middle as the second oldest, and then we got the baby of the family. How you doing, Sweet Bundy?
I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there.
How's things going though? Like, how's your day going? Like last time you talked about was the day at the heat. Like, how's that going? Like, still mad hot where you?
It's still hot, but we got out of that heat wave. That heat wave was insane. I mean, we're supposed to have like another 90-something degree day, but listen, compared to that week, it felt like it was a week or two where it was just this crazy heat wave out of nowhere, and plus it was such a shock because it was cold for so long. We're talking about like 50-degree days we were just having, then out of nowhere it just jumped to the 80s. Yeah, it was a shock to the system.
Oh, for real. I mean, just for anybody in the Europes, 90 degrees Fahrenheit is 32 degrees Celsius, which is pretty hot. We have had some hot days in the UK recently as well, but it has cooled down a bit in recent days. But yeah, I think last week they had like 2, 3, maybe 4 days in a row where was it? What might be the week before actually? But yeah, recently anyway, there was some few days in a row where it was like in the 30s for us, which I guess is 90s Fahrenheit for the Americans. But yeah, it's been pretty hot. But in that heat, have you managed to make time for any geekiness, any games, any movies, any shows? What you been doing?
I feel like I just watched the show and I forgot what it was, but I enjoyed it. As far as anything really recent, I wanted to see 2 films, but I haven't gone to see it yet. One of them obviously is Superman. I'm not like hyper about it or like super excited or anything. It's just simply the fact that it's something new. It's introducing the new DCU apparently, and plus I like James Gunn. I like a lot of his films. I like his style and everything. So I'll be, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with Superman, but I'm not really a Superman fan. So it just goes hand in hand, I guess. But yeah, it's going to be a cool experience. Yeah. And the other film I was looking forward to, I don't remember the name, but it's a Wes Anderson film. So I'm a fiend for his films. I don't remember them by name except for, and it's jumping over my head right now, but the hotel, Budapest Hotel. Yes.
Oh, that one is good. That one is a very good movie. When you get a chance to watch that, we could talk about it.
Hell yeah, I fucking love it. I just love the style, the cinematography, even down to the comedy, to the punchlines, the casting that he chooses. I fucking love it, Wes Anderson. So I'm looking forward to seeing that film too. I just don't remember the name, but whatever.
That the Thin Scheme?
Probably.
It's the most recent one. I'm looking at credits. Oh, yeah, so yes, this year, 2025. I realize I don't think I've actually seen any of his films. I'm looking over his credits right now, and I don't think I've seen any of his movies.
What?
I'd be surprised if you didn't, honestly.
Yeah, like even going way back in the beginning of his career, I don't think I've heard of these movies. I've heard of some of, at least a good few of them, and I recognize some of these are quite popular, but I don't think I've actually seen any of his movies. Yeah, none of these are. Oh wait, that's something else.
Did he really do sing?
I might have to rectify that. Watch a Wes Anderson movie. That's my homework. What would you guys recommend? I heard was it the Budapest Hotel? Is that the one you said?
Yeah.
Grand Budapest Hotel. Is that like, as someone who's not seen a Wes Anderson movie, would that be a good place to start?
I really like that one. I can't think, like the Royal Tenenbaums is another one, but I wouldn't say start with the Royal Tenenbaums. He's got such a style, but Grand Budapest Hotel is a easy swallow kind of movie, and it's visually just really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes it real easy to watch.
Okay, let's see. Short films, commercials, music videos, film as an actor. No, we're looking as a director. Okay, Wikipedia, you're not helping me out. Oh my God, guess what? As an actor is in Sing and Sing 2 as additional voices.
That's hilarious.
That's great. Sing, like la la la, Sing, the animated movie, the koala.
Wow. Yeah, I watched both of them. You know what's funny? It's like on the surface, that's one of the type of films that I will be against, because it's kind of like mindless. You go in there, but it's for kids. And plus, what I like about it is that it introduces kids to music that they would probably never listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Sing, the original one. Johnny the Gorilla plays the song by Elton John.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap.
Still standing.
Yes.
No.
I would never listen to that song unless of that movie. I was like, yeah, I'm not an Elton John fan. Just if he was just doing Disney and Tarzan, cool. That's good. I don't need to see any more of Elton John. But then after that song and Sing, I was like, I am educated. They had a lot of information. So, I mean, I already liked Frank Sinatra, but I can imagine these younger kids seeing a little floating mouse sing Frank Sinatra. I think that's a little bit more powerful, so people understand music has come a long way from just being storytelling, but like the sound and the evolution that we get.
Yeah. And it tells with like anytime when you hear a song that samples it, samples another song, you could always go deeper into it now, since so much time has passed.
Yeah, kind of like how it's basically Hey Mickey.
Yeah.
So Celeste, how about yourself? Have you made some time for movies, games, shows? I mean, other than Ironheart, of course. Well, have you managed some geekiness in the last few weeks?
You have no idea. I've been trying to prepare for this because I'm like, after Endgame happened, I swore off everything Marvel. So I'm just like, you know what? I need to just so I kind of sped run the MCU movies. So after a certain point, if it was like slow, I would be like, skip a little bit. Fight scene. Okay, skip a little bit, craft a little bit more, skip a little bit. And I'm like, okay, next movie. So I started at Captain America, Winter Soldier, worked my way all the way to Ant-Man. What was after Ant-Man? No. It was after that. There's one more after Ant-Man. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to make it in time. So I'm just going to watch the movies that I need to watch. And so then I watched Doctor Strange's Multiverse Madness movie. Very disappointed with that. Scarlet Witch. You have the most powerful woman Avenger in the MCU. I know what happens in WandaVision, not spoiling it, but it's kind of there that she's like, I'm the bad guy in this film. It's basically Civil War all over again. Like, look at me fight my best friend because of XYZ. I need that person. So they're just recycling homework. And I was just so disappointed because I'm like, we have a very strong woman with power who has a great storyline. And yeah, she's tortured, but we can't make her have like one more good movie. And so they just like dead like a fly. So I'm really hurt by that. Visuals are stunning. It was really cool. We get her really cool Scarlet Witch outfit for like not enough time. Not enough time.
The red outfit, yeah.
It's so cool. It's freaking cool. And we don't get to see her like use it in like a good battle. Like, what the hell is that shit? Just wasted potential. Just the wasted costume potential and the use of Elizabeth Olsen's acting. So good. So good. Not cool with the America chick. I just don't care for her. Not cool. not cool
Oh,
that we had
Megan.
yeah, I'm not cool with her. Not the actress. Like I can separate the two. Like good for you, little chick. Like you got that role. But they killed off another really cool person to give you that platform. And it makes me mad because that's what happened. So then there was one more movie that we had to watch before it. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, tugged the heartstrings. And I was like, who the fuck is Namor? Who the fuck? So I went on a whole comic book binging thing to prep for this one. So you guys, I went hardcore.
All right, yeah.
I'm like, I don't fucking like Namor.
I really like the first Black Panther movie. The second one, I thought like it had its charm, but yeah, I kind of feel like they dropped the ball a little bit with that one. To be honest with you, like it just overall felt like, why is any of this happening? You know, like, I mean, I won't get too much into spoilers because yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But like, there's just parts of that movie where it's like, bruh, you could have done that yourself. Like, you didn't need to involve this whole thing and, you know, tell people about your whole tribe and reveal it. You could have just done this yourself. Like, this movie could have been like 10 minutes. But,
yeah, that movie was screaming like, oh, we're going to make it so girl power and focus on this. And then it's just like, but this storyline's really weak. And also, like, RIP to Mr. Chadwick Boseman. Like, yeah, we understand that mantle and that human is now no longer with us. So you have to go somewhere with the story and kind of give her like a sense of a heroism. And then, you know, it's just kind of like, okay, well, now she's obviously, you could tell by the movie posters, you know? So it's just, that storyline was really weak. And then you get something like Doctor Strange, Madness in Multiverse. What's it called? Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
I'm getting it all backward. And it's just, you had two really powerful women. One of them kind of struggle bust, and then the other one is just like, I'm so OP that you have to kill me off. And and then we led into Ironheart. So I was like, yeah, I'm cool with this. I like how this transitioned. Unfortunately, I think it could have been smoother.
Well, as for myself, I actually managed to make time for quite a few things because I had a little bit of time in the last few weeks. So I managed to get through some stuff that I've been kind of sitting on for a bit. So. I did watch Superman, the new Superman movie. I won't get into spoilers, but I'll just say I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. It was a great film. There's a lot to be said about that film, but that might have to wait for another day. Just for now, just say yeah, it was a really good, in my opinion, really great movie. Just really enjoyable. All that, you know, message, depth, all of that. You know, just what it did with the characters. Really liked it. Let's see. I also got through what was I watching? Damn it. K-pop Demon Hunters, which we'll talk about. I watched that. I'm blanking on something. What did I watch on? It was on Netflix. I watched something. Oh yeah, I watched The Old Guard Part 2. The second movie for that. Which it was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. I feel like, I mean, again, not getting to spoilers, I think they ended it in a way that is not necessarily bad, but also knowing Netflix and the types of things they do, it could be like the worst way you could end it. You know what I mean? Because Netflix can be a bit unpredictable. You know what I mean? Right?
We're out of budget now. End it.
Yeah, and the way they ended it was like, okay, cool. But are you going to follow through? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Is Netflix going to follow through? Or is it going to be like, with that? You know what I mean? Like, it could, it's a cool ending if they could follow through with it. If they could follow through with it, cool. But Netflix, they've done some weird stuff. So we'll see. Squid Game, I watched that. I watched the final season of Squid Game. Excellent. Really, really like that. The Squid Game's just been great throughout. It's only 3 seasons, and I think the way they ended it was just, yeah, really good. I'm glad they only gonna do 3 seasons though, because I do feel like some shows don't know when to quit. So, and I think what they've done with this show, the way they've kind of set it up and crafted it, and you know, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna make 3 really good seasons and just leave it there. There's definitely a potential for spin-offs, right? But I think for what they've done with this particular story, where they've started it, where they progressed it, and where they ended it, it was spot on. So yeah, 3 seasons was all it needed, and it was fantastic. And also I started playing Batman Arkham Asylum again. Game from 2009, was it 2009? Yeah. I think it came out.
2009.
But yeah, I've not played it since probably about 2009, maybe 2010. I think the last time I played it. But yeah, I started playing that again, And yeah, just enjoying that again, really, just getting through it bit by bit, and I'll say, like, I don't know if I'm enjoying it now as much as I did when I played it the first time. And I'm not entirely sure the reason for that. It's certainly not a bad game. I do think it still holds up pretty well for the most part. But I don't know, maybe I have rose tinted memory of things, and I don't know. But yeah, it does feel a little bit like I'm enjoying it, but I'm not sure I'm enjoying it as much as I did. So anyway, still working my way through that. So maybe see how I'm feeling by the time I finish it, if I finish it. Yeah, that's been me. I've been busy.
I'm surprised you like Squid Game season 3. I forgot that I watched that. I hated it. So
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I hated it. So
Hated, that's a strong word though. I mean, hated?
Oh yeah, you want a stronger word? I loathed it. I loathed
Uh,
it that I forgot about it. So
Man, it was. I mean, I'm trying to think why you might hate it without saying too much for those who haven't seen it.
well, I mean,
But
if you've seen the first season, you know what to expect. And if you watch Beast Games, you know what to expect. So like there are two different shows, but it's just you know what to expect. I just don't like the progression on how it happened. Like the storytelling of it would just seem very sloppy to me.
interesting. I mean, I thought they did really well. I thought, like, in terms of his story of trying to end the games, because that's kind of established by the end of the first season that he wants to end the games, and why he goes back, and going from that to what happens and him trying to do what he can, but then of course he has to deal with not just the people who run the show, but the contestants as well, and their thoughts and their characters and what they want and stuff like that, and how it all kind of comes together. And like he's just one person, but he's got people on his side, of course, and people that support him. But in the end, it's kind of like what they say about Las Vegas: the house always wins. And maybe not quite that directly, but in a sense that it didn't go the way he thought it might go by a long shot. And because of that, he had to adapt, right? And through that adaptation, other things are happening. And yeah, I just thought like that they were just like standout characters for me, standout moments. And by the time it got to the end, yeah, it was bittersweet. But wow.
I won't go too much deeper. So
Yeah, maybe avoid spoilers on that show. Maybe we'll talk about that on another episode and get into all the details then. But yeah, we'll leave the spoilers on Squid Game for now. All right then. So let's see. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Ironheart, the Disney Plus show. And yeah, we are gonna be getting to spoilers on Ironheart. So if you've not seen Ironheart, you may wanna do that. Or if you don't care for spoilers, then it's all good too. But before we do get into spoilers, just going to get some brief non-spoiler opinions for those who haven't seen it and maybe wondering they should, spend near 6 hours watching it. What's your non-spoiler opinions on the show, Mr. Sweet Bundy? Or Sweet Buzz, actually. I guess your name's changed now. It says it's Sweet Buzz Music now.
A lot of people said that the show is bad. A lot of people just kept hating on the show as soon as it came out and was released with the first 3 episodes, which is like the first half of the season, since there are only 6. The show, honestly, the best way to describe it is average. Disappointing, yeah, but average, at least for me. I didn't hate this show. I found myself being excited to find out, the next part of the plot once you get to that cliffhanger on that first half. Some of the characters are enjoyable, but it suffers from bad dialogue, awkward story beats, unnecessary moments, and in some cases it felt like it just got lost. It wanted to focus on too much of the lightheartedness of Marvel or whatever, where they could have had some interesting conversations between certain characters. We'll go into that deeper once we get to like the spoiler part. But yeah, honestly, it just felt like this was just poorly directed and had some bad writing, but it's not a bad show. And that's why I kept seeing bad show. I didn't find it to be bad. I found it to be too average.
All right. AD Celeste, what's your brief? Okay, well, just
get into it. So we're introduced to this girl Riri, I don't know if someone really named their daughter Riri. First off, that
Mhm.
that that
I
was
think it's short
that
for
was.
Rihanna.
Is it really? I was looking that up, and
That's-
it's like legit Riri on Marvel Cinematic, like comic books.
I've always thought of it as being short for Rihanna. I don't know what the Marvel
Are
story
you
is, but yeah.
serious? This won't even use her full name once. It's all just Riri, like Siri. Like no, I couldn't get past that like certain times and such. But I think it was a good filler background kind of thing. So like if you're at a podcast and you just want something in the background you could peek at every once in a while, it's okay for that. Now, there's a lot of times when there's like heavy moments, and it just seems kind of like, oh yeah, that's kind of predictable now. But is it bad? I wouldn't say it's bad. I actually saw that there was a lot of bad, like Sweet Buzz said, there was a lot of bad reviews. I was like, oh shit, are we pulling a Snow White all over again? I watched that. So this is not a Snow White problem, in my opinion. I think it's okay for a mini series. Is it the best thing ever? I think there was a lot of character growth and it was just too slow and like a lot of like hidden things that were just like, so for someone who doesn't know the comics of these newer characters such as Ironheart, I've never heard of this particular storyline. It was just interesting. It wasn't just one of these like, oh, here's a kid from the projects trying to beat the odds. Like, no, like as you saw, if you guys have watched Black Panther Wakanda Forever, you know Riri is in a very prestigious school. And I think that was like refreshing to see a young woman who is 16 years old working really hard to build her own legacy from scratch. And this is where the story is.
So for myself, I liked it a lot actually. I thought it was done really well. I really liked the characters. I thought like even the minor characters, their the kind of interactions and the way it kind of all kind of fit together. Awkward moments. I mean, yeah, we might have to talk a bit more about that in the spoiler section, but I can't think of any moments for myself that I felt personally were particularly awkward. I just thought it was a really good fun show, and by the time by the way, I watched it all at once, so I didn't do the whole kind of watch 3 episodes, wait a week or 2 weeks or whatever it was, and then I watched them all when it came out. So maybe that's why my opinion might be a little bit different. I just kind of watched them all back to back. But yeah, I think by the time I got to the end of it, it was a pretty satisfying story. I mean, it ended in a way that was I thought was really interesting. And yeah, I did see some of the comments about it being a bad show, but to be honest, I think a lot of those came from, at least from what I can tell, a lot of those came from, those types of channels that just don't like anything, you know what I mean? That if there's a woman or a black person involved, it's like, it's bad, it's woke, it's them type of places. So I don't really pay attention to a lot of that stuff anyway. But yeah, I did see a few of those pop up on my YouTube. Was like, this is a disaster, and it's like, gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was a really good show. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was brilliant, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Now that said, let's get into spoilers. Let's get into what we really think. No holding back now. So this is your spoiler warning, your last spoiler warning. We are going to get into all details as much as possible with Ironheart 2025 Disney Plus series that you can watch on Disney Plus right now. If you have Disney Plus, of course. If you don't, then maybe borrow your friends. Right. So, spoiler warning. Here we go. Let's start with Mr. Sweet Bundy, as you recommended this show. First question for you is, why did you did you watch the show before you recommended it? And if so, why did you recommend the show that you thought was, just kind of mediocre?
It was after the first half, and I had at that point I had like some hopes for it. I thought like maybe it was just struggling along, and then also because it's current, I felt like it was important to talk about, and also because of the lead character and the lead character and everything. And this is also supposed to be an important show. It's supposed to be the last show of its phase, right? And also lead into Doomsday. Like it's supposed to have hints into it, including Fantastic Four when that comes out and everything. But anyway, as far as like what I thought about this, man, It had so much potential, especially with the fact that AI is such a popular subject right now. And borderline, you could have similar conversations like Riri and her dead friend Natalie. You could actually have similar conversations with some AI models right now just by imitating people through text messages, emails, even down to the voice. So we could have really had some conversations between Riri and her friend and the trauma that's shared. But instead, it's like they tap on it, they address it for a moment, and then they move on to something else. And that was so disappointing because instead we're treated to more scenes of, I forgot his name, but the guy who's the son of
Are you talking about Joe?
Joe.
Or are you talking about Xavier?
Nah, Joe.
Joe. Yeah, it was Zeke, but yeah, it was called
But
Joe.
he's Joe too.
Joe was his fake name, and then Ezekiel was his real name. Yeah.
So with Joe, it's like I didn't mind him. In fact, when he had that scene when he was in the car and he's talking with Riri, I started to get on his side a little bit as far as getting more invested into his character. However, my point is that we spent too much time with bullshit scenes that went on a little too long instead of focusing on really the experience that Riri could be going through, that anyone would be going through when they're mourning the loss of someone, especially in such a violent way. For example, there's this one scene that was powerful, but it just got its head chopped off. And that's that scene where the mother discovered Natalie and Riri just got home. And she's like, wow, she's expecting her mom to overreact or whatever and freak out. But instead, her mom is amazed and she's proud. And then she asked her, can you make one of your father or stepfather? And she couldn't. Instead of them just having a moment where she can really dive into that, because first off, the actor who plays Riri is very talented. You could tell she has a hell of a lot of potential. So I felt like with the director just didn't give her the right tools to really show off her versatile skills and talents when it came to acting, because almost every scene she's in, she's just sarcastic or angry. Sarcastic, angry. And then you'll have brief moments where you can see those other shades. So it's not the actor.
No, it's the writing.
Exactly. And speaking of the writing, some of the dialogue is just fucking awful, right? Now, mind you, I want to, instead of rambling too much, I just want to clarify. I nitpicked the hell out of the show. But again, I want to emphasize it's not a bad show. I don't want to be grouped in with those assholes. Like, I'm telling you how many, exactly as you said, it was plastered all over YouTube. This is the worst show. I promise you, every damn channel I saw that said that, I just immediately made sure that their channel wouldn't show up on my feed or whatever. Because it's fucking annoying. There's been so much worse. However, the reason why I nitpick it so hard is because it's disappointing. I had such high hopes for this character, and I feel like they just got lazy in the writing room. From the jump, she's talking about Tony Stark this, Tony Stark that, and I get it. The mantle is being passed. Hell, we know by just the name of the fucking show. We know what's going on. But what I wanted was a more grounded story. I felt like, and plus it was in Chicago, which would have been perfect. You had the basis. And then I didn't really like the way how they represented Chicago because it was a little too clean cut in a lot of cases. Now, me growing up in my household or whatever, or seeing friends that were growing up in similar households, when she got kicked out of school and she comes home, her mom is like, hey, what's up? Nah, fuck that. Are you kidding me? Yo, everybody would have been on her ass. And I'm not talking about beating her. No, you would have heard a tongue lashing from the moment she went to the next scene, okay? She would have had to leave. Nobody, and mind you, another thing too, nobody leaves their fucking door unlocked like that. Where the guy just came in, like we're watching Family Matters. By the way, rest in peace. But yeah, to Jamal.
Shouldn't be laughing. It's such a cutaway
I know.
of like seriousness and then recipes.
Sorry.
It was unexpected. But I'm not laughing. I'm just laughing the way it works. I'm not laughing at death. Okay, continue. Sorry.
No, my fault. But yeah, nobody leaves their fucking door unlocked like that, especially in Chicago and you're black. I'm just saying, Okay. There are so many moments that just kept irking me. But with all that said, there were a lot of moments that kept me invested. And that's thanks to the acting and thanks to some of the writing. Some of the writing was good. I really enjoyed the villain Hood. I found him charismatic. He wasn't over the top. The actor, I don't know what it was about him, but the way how he delivered even the kind of bad dialogue and the bad lines, he did it in a way where it was like I just brushed it aside. I was like, okay, I'm just into his performance and seeing him get more into the character as he goes on further in the story. You get to see this change in his mannerisms and everything. I want to see more of that character. I hope he comes back for sure. Anyway, I feel like I went on too long. You guys go.
All right. So, Celeste, what's your main takeaway from Iron?
Well, she got kicked out of MIT, which is like, you're 16. She's like, I'm 18, 16, something like that. She's in her teens.
19.
Gets
19.
out of,
Yeah.
oh yeah. So she gets kicked out of MIT. As an Asian woman, I think that's like ultimate dishonor. Like getting kicked out of a university such as prestigious as MIT because you can't get funding because you blow shit up. It's like, yes, there are problems that happen in testing. That bothered me from like the start because I'm like, how do you fuck up so much that you need more money on your grant and you're not trying to graduate to like the thought process of like, yeah, I don't want to be a paper pusher. Well, then find someone to work for of like Tony Stark to build your own suit.
Yes.
Like that bothered me. That bothered me so much that it couldn't have like evolved into a certain way and her using the suit to like prove her point. And then she's like, oh, well, I got fired. Like getting fired versus getting kicked out of college is such a bad thing to me. Because one, I didn't finish university, but I did go to a like it's called like an Airhouse Academy. So like a work, it's almost like community college. So I went and got my trade. No, it's trade school. God damn it. So I went to trade school and I got my production technology associate's degree, which is still a degree. I'm using it now, but she has nothing. And she's so smart. She's 19 and they couldn't even give her like that. Just be like, okay, you graduated. Like, I think that's so disingenuous for younger, I don't want to say girls of color, but just all girls, like seeing this character, if they get introduced to this, I don't know, parents might leave it on and they'd be like, why did you want to, Maddie? So I thought that was such a bad move because you have a Black superhero teenage girl, like getting kicked out of the most prestigious college. And I'm like, why couldn't it have been, you're just too immature for a real job, and that's why we got you out, and this is why you go back home to Chicago. Because I'm a mom, and if my kids got kicked out of MIT, full ride scholarship, that is like $100,000. That's nothing. That is substantial. So I was like really fucking pissed. I'm like, you couldn't have wrote that, or at least tie in how she was with like the Wakanda people. And just be all like, because you were in with these people and XYZ, we can't house you. As opposed to, oh, you're just reckless, so we had to kick you out. So I really hated that. I really like the crew kind of people of the Hood. It was really interesting because Slug, she is actually a drag queen that I like. It's Shea Coulee, and I was like so excited to actually see her acting in this. And she wasn't so campy and over the top. I was really excited to see all these little minor characters. I was like, these actual people in the comics? I don't know, but I like their characters and how they did things. I was really disappointed with Rampage. I was like, okay, maybe we'll get a little bit of him and Riri bantering a bit more because they had this like, oh, you're Rampage on the Discord. And he's like, yeah, that's me. And then never again, just went and off. And I was like, that kind of sucked. I was really disappointed with that. With the Hood and his brother with the tattoos, I was like, I don't understand what we're covering up right now. I'm very confused at this scene. I can tell something's wrong, but I can't tell what. So I was disappointed with that. The Hood idea, I was like, this reminds me of like Robin Hood, but gone wrong. So I was a little like, so now you have magic powers? Like, this is weird. Okay. I didn't expect that to happen. And then this whole thing of like, okay, we're just people stealing shit, using tech to do it. And then at the end, it's just like, by the way, we all have to use magic now. So we're gonna get rid of all the people that don't use magic, such as the little gang that's his family. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. I kind of like them. I thought all of them had like a nice little spice flavor to like the small scenes. I thought that was nice, but you can't have everything. And then I really hated how Joe got turned into like Ezekiel, like bad guy Ezekiel. It's like, if it's against your will, I get it, because he was like, I got installed my biomesh and now I'm stronger. I'm like, I knew that was foreshadowing. As soon as he's like, look at all these designs I got, look how cool I could be, or help people out because I'm taking control of my life. I was really like happy to see him take it to his neighbor bitch ass when she's like, I don't want to just, have dog poop over here. I don't have any dogs. Okay, well, I'm just gonna let my dog poop over here. I would have took that dog shit and smeared it all over her front door. You what a great actress. I love it. Like, that was great writing right there. Because I can see there are personality types that will just get walked over like that. And it's really nice to see Ezekiel step up and change himself and start butchering the flowers. But here's the problem. So after he gets broken out of jail and then he's like at his car, the flowers were fine. Like, we did not see disheveled, destroyed, like continuity, broken up flowers. Because at the end, I think episode 3, he's sitting there and he's all like, I'm gonna cut your shit out of your flowers. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this guy's getting crazy. Oh my God, yes. Step up, squeeze your balls tighter. I don't know. So I was really happy to see that. But then where he got led down, I was like, you got your shit installed by magic? We were just making sense 1 second, and now it all just doesn't fucking make sense. It just makes me like, I don't like that. I don't like it when it don't make sense. Like, if it's not supposed to make sense from the beginning, just, that's cool. Let me know that. But he's like a tech billionaire's son, so he knows about these things. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna touch this metal thing. It feels good. Yeah. What does it do? Okay, cool. Like, yeah, I can imagine doing this, and then talking about biomesh. But now you have it installed with magic. So that just makes me like really mad. So there's that. But I don't like how Natalie was handled at all with the AI thing. Like, I understand post-trauma stress disorders and like triggers and memory problems, because they had that a lot in the show. And it's like, I'm okay with a 19-year-old having these issues. It's like Jinx from League of Legends. She's freaking out. But at the same time, it's just like, but she's standing there because she is a brain scan of your memories. And why can't you put 2 and 2 together? It's like, it's like right there. You scanned your brain. Like, I don't know. Were you drunk? You can't be, because you're 19. So that, like, the fact that she couldn't get 2 and 2 together and she couldn't just out delete like the program and start fresh kind of pissed me off. And like, there are ways. Maybe it's just because I've worked in software development, but I'm just like, you just seem kind of like, you're very smart, but you're also very dumb at the same time. Like, it's not common sense stuff either. So it's not like, oh, the light is red, so you stop. Like, it wasn't that. So I'm just like, you uploaded a scan of your brain. You can run diagnostics by yourself, lazy bitch. Like, you gotta work on your suit, okay? But you can still run diagnostics while like doing your wrench. It's called multitasking. Most women know how to do that. Keyword most. I'm not generally. Yeah, I'm just saying most. But yeah, I just don't think they wrote that right. I do believe the mom had a really good role for what she was given, because like, she had her friend over when Riri came home from MIT, and if your mom's got her auntie and her friends, she don't want to look bad and be all beating you up, and then that's going to get around in the neighborhood. So it's like, oh yeah, I saw her beat her daughter blue yesterday. It's like, oh god, yeah, I wouldn't want to be that. But the auntie that's like with the crystals and the camouflage, that's Cree Summers, one of my favorite voice actors. I was like, who the hell is this bitch? She's kind of funny. I was like, God, it's Foxy Love. Oh my God, I love her. I wish we could get just a mini series, like 3 episodes of just her being like, I peace, bye, camouflage, like smoke a blunt, bye. Like, I would gladly fund that. Just that. But overall, yeah. By the way, last little tidbit. Mephisto, we're introducing fucking, I better get Blackheart in the next 10 years. God damn it, I love Blackheart. Do I know a lot about him? No, but he was in a video game that I played and I fucking loved him. Demons and shit everywhere.
All right. Well, let's see. Well, first of all, I'll say yes. Cree Summers is legendary, and I was pretty excited and happy when I saw her show because I mean she's done live acting, well, but she does a lot of voice work. So most of the time you just hearing her voice or the voices that she does. So see her in something, and it has one of those. When I saw, her, I was like, she looks familiar. Just familiar. And then it was like, oh, that's Cree Summers. That was pretty awesome. Legendary Cree Summers. It was in Different Worlds back in the day, if you remember that show. Old school. We're talking, it was like the Cosby Show spin-off. But yeah, she was in that. But yeah, legendary voice actor, well, just actress. And as Delma's mother. All right, so let me talk about some of my thoughts. So all right, yeah, so like I said, I liked it quite a bit. As far as, I felt like things were explained well enough. I mean, at least from what I can remember right now, I feel like things were explained well enough. I mean, it's 6 episodes, so they're not going into super depth with everything, of course, I get that. But it felt like things were happening, and I personally felt like I always understood why things were happening. So, the whole thing with her getting kicked out of MIT was because she was, selling the homework to the students. And she was doing that because she needed money to build the suit. And, she's at MIT, sure, but then she's working on something that's big. It's not the type of thing that I guess typically gets covered on under your average, scholarship. Like, it's basically building or attempting to build like an Iron Man style suit. Like, it's not going to be easy or cheap. So, like, yeah, she's doing things that, shouldn't be doing for sure. And like you say, she's a smart person, but she's makes bad decisions. And I feel like that's kind of a very deliberate part of her character. Like, she is this super genius, but maybe she's so hyper focused on this thing, she's maybe not considering all the consequences of certain actions because, she's trying to solve this problem. It's like, well, I need money. And then maybe not going the right ways about it. But then, I don't know, a 9-to-5 job's probably not going to make anywhere near enough to fund an Iron Man style suit anyway. So maybe there are no right ways to go about it. But anyway, if whether that's, the best way to go about it or not, that was the reason. She needed money to build the suit, and then that was her way of trying to get money. And then she gets caught, she gets kicked out because it wasn't, the first time and that kind of thing. And can't make too many allowances for her no matter what, no matter how smart she is. Eventually everybody, if you're doing the wrong thing, you're gonna get kicked out. And yeah, what Sweet Bunny said about, how the mother would have shouted at her. I mean, she didn't like get mad and shout. I believe she did say something though. I believe from what I remember, she did, have some words of, disappointment because she knew what happened because she she said something about paying that guy to
The janitor
to keep an eye on her or something. Knew what happened, and when she came back, it was like she's got her friends there, so maybe not just gonna go all balls out right in front of your friends, right? Start screaming and shouting at your daughter when the aunties are around. Maybe not do it then, but she did. She did say something.
Barely.
Maybe. I mean, you got to think like she's a younger mother, right? She's not. I mean, like our let me say our parents, our parents' age. Like they most likely would have just whooped your ass right in who's dead. You know what I mean? They don't care. But I feel like the younger parents, they handle these sorts of things with a bit more, what's the word? Civility. Like I feel like they handle these things. At least that's the impression I'm getting when I'm watching the show. She's maybe somebody who's a bit more kind of in tune. She understands what happened. So she's already knows what's happened. So she's already maybe processed it in that way. And at some of the time, Riri gets home, it's like how they're talking about it. So she's not screaming and shouting. She's kind of already processed that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's maybe not the way, I guess, a lot of parents, certainly a lot of, my generation of parents would have handled it. But, for this generation, it didn't seem out of place for me. Yeah, I was cool with that. But yeah, the character Riri, I just felt like throughout, she is like this really, really intelligent, genius person. But she is a person, and nobody's perfect. Like Tony Stark did lots of dumb things as well, right? So like nobody is going to make all the right decisions all the time, and you see that where when Natalie came about, the correct thing would have been just to delete, especially the fact that she didn't really know how exactly it was made. I mean, she understands basically what was going on, but in terms of the specifics of how Natalie was created, like she didn't know. Like there was so like when her mother was like, "Can you do one for Gary?" He's like, "I can't because I literally don't really know fully how exactly I did Natalie." Remember, she fell asleep while the whole thing was kind of downloading. So there's a lot that happened that she would not have been aware of while she was asleep. So it's not something she could just recreate, but she did do this. And Natalie, as an AI of a friend, there's all kinds of like ethical things in that, right? It's not really her. It's just a replication of her memories of her and that kind of thing. So does that make it okay? Maybe, maybe not. But so perhaps the right thing would have been to just say, you know what, I just need to delete this or put it in some kind of quarantine where it can't go no, at least until I figure it out. But of course, that's not what happens. And again, smart person, but still a person, human. And yeah, even with getting in with the hood, and yeah, I really liked Anthony Ramos as her. I thought he was really cool as well. And John, the cousin, I thought John the cousin, he kind of reminded me a lot of like. Have you seen Better Call Saul? The man, I'm blanking on the dude's name right now. But the guy who was in Better Call Saul. Damn it.
I never saw it, so I can't help you.
Only saw
yeah, but he reminded me with one of the main bad guys in that. Here we go. Michael Mando's Nacho Varga. Like he kind of reminded me of him, the way he was played. That's a similar kind of aesthetic as well. But like the way he portrayed the character kind of reminded me a bit like him. He's definitely not as psychotic as Nacho Varga. Not for the Disney Plus show anyway. But he was definitely in that kind of line of a Nacho Varga style character. But anyway, I liked him. And of course he met his end when he tried to kill Riri and in the air being sucked out. And by the way, I saw there was a lot of debate online about how Riri murdered this guy, which is not actually true. She didn't murder him. Like, first of all, she didn't even kill him. It was actually Natalie that came and rescued Riri and just the Natalie being an AI, her priorities keep Riri safe. Blew out the door shut. They just didn't save it. It was kind of like what Batman did, basically. If you remember Batman Begins, like he just chose not to save Ra's al Ghul from the train. He didn't kill him. He just didn't, not kill him. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like there was a lot of discussion about, oh, she murdered him. She's a bad person, that kind of stuff. Like, no, she didn't. She didn't murder him. And other things, like she was like pretty beat up. It's not like she was like at full strength and able to, people are stupid. But anyway, that was that. And by the time you get to the end of the series with Mephisto, and you see Mephisto, by the way, Sacha Baron Cohen, the dude who played Ali G. Yeah, how familiar are you guys with Ali G? I think he was pretty famous outside the UK as well. So he was pretty big here, but I think it was fake. Yeah, Ali G. But Borat might be his most famous character, though. I think Borat might be his most famous character. But yeah, that dude showing up. And he's another guy that, even though he's done quite a lot of, acting, and you see his face and he's kind of like a master of disguise himself, I feel like. When you see him pop up in various movies, he's not necessarily like, you recognize him right away. It's kind of like, he's got that kind of like, I know you. But anyway, that was Sacha Baron Cohen. And, but yeah, I liked how, he kind of sitting there and he gives her that same kind of deal of, I can give you everything you want, and he's like, well, what's it going to cost me? So something that you want. Yes. Same thing what you said to the hood. Yes. We don't actually know what exactly that is, but I guess we'll find out potentially in later seasons. But yeah, again, genius girl, but she is still a person, and you made a decision to go with him. You see kind of the scars coming up in her arm when because Natalie's actually back now. The actual Natalie from the dead, actually back. And that's, I mean, if we're looking at how Natalie the AI is an ethical issue, I mean, this is massive ethical issue, right? Oh, by the way, to what you said about the tattoos were to cover up the scars that he had all over his back. So his cousin was giving him tattoos to cover up the scars, but the scars were eventually just getting more and more and more, and you just couldn't really cover them up anymore. But that's what that was about. And yeah, to the band of misfit bad guys, they were really cool, I thought, as well. Like this kind of group of people that kind of plucked out of various places, doing various things, and they all similar but dissimilar as well. They're similar in the sense that maybe they don't quite fit into where they are, but they're all very dissimilar in their characters and how they do things. You got like the two sisters, you got Slug, Clown, and then Rampage. Well, nobody calls him Rampage. I keep calling him by his Stuart. You had that whole dynamic, and then Stuart gets killed, and that's well, at the beginning it feels like they don't know how to do it, but of course they eventually realize it was a hood. And the other character, Zeke, I liked his character as well, though I guess I don't want to say he was a minor character, but yeah, I guess with him, to be fair, maybe there was more they could have done with him, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But I'll tell you who I really liked, and hopefully we'll see more of in future shows, is Zelma. She was a real minor character. She was only in I think 3 episodes or something like that. But she's the daughter of Cree Summers' character, the witch in training. She was like really cool for the short time that she had, like being this person who had to be kind of self-taught as a witch because her mother didn't take her to Carmitage, and that kind of thing, and she's had to learn off was it witches of TikTok, and but she's still a knowledgeable a witch in her own right. So it kind of feels like she's this person who's got a lot to prove, but maybe doesn't have the space to prove it in. So yeah, it'd be cool to see more of her, especially in the last kind of scene, the last post credit scene, where you see her and Hood kind of in a shop, and she's like, yeah, I need some real powerful magic, and all right, what's happening there? Whether she teams up with him or not, or but yeah, overall, like I say, I wouldn't say brilliant, but in my opinion, pretty damn good. I felt it was a very worthwhile show. For a character that like you say before, probably most people don't know too much about from the comics. Certainly not people my age, I'm sure. She's, I think, part of the newer comics. And to what you said about Chicago, by the way, like I've never been to Chicago, so I can't comment from personal experience, but I did see some people talking about that actually, where they said that it wasn't the ghetto side of Chicago. So basically, it's not the rundown side of Chicago, which is why it didn't look, like what you might typically think of Chicago if you've only ever seen movies where they show the ghetto side. So yeah, that could have been that. It's not.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the whole. No, I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about anybody in Chicago, whether you're in the suburbs or not, you'll have your door locked. You're not going to just leave your back door unlocked like that. And plus, where Riri was at, that side of Chicago, it doesn't matter. People are going to take. They got all those Iron Man pieces in the wagon. She's just carrying it down, just strolling the shit, and nobody tried to. No, listen. I'm telling you, it's not even a stereotype. It's a fact. Hell, it doesn't even have to be a Chicago thing. New York, LA. She's getting that shit taken, especially in LA. Hell, you get robbed faster in the suburbs than in the hood sometimes when it comes to LA shit. They rob famous people houses, knowing that there's full security. They just steal that shit. No, nobody's just gonna be walking down seeing Iron Man pieces and this girl's already beat up. No, somebody's stealing that shit.
All right, no, yeah. Fair enough.
I lived in Chicago for like a week. That didn't last. There's a reason for that. But even when
that's a holiday. You lived there for a week. That's a week. That's a holiday. That's not living somewhere.
It's living there if you're with your ex-fiance. So like you're planning on staying there, but then
all right, no,
and you're like, I'm out. So
reasons. Is that because of Chicago though, or because of other reasons why you left?
I met the girl he was cheating on me with.
Oh, so it was him. Okay, fair enough.
It was literally his fault. Like legit 1000%. I will always put this out there. I am a victim and I say him, but guess what? I don't care. Like, you know what? I'm not with him. I'm a lady now, and he could never. Anyways, yeah. Chicago, she was like walking down the street and stuff like that. I'm like, you have to be in like the city or the other side. Most people that I know, like when we were there, I'm like, no, we had to have a car. Most people were like, oh yeah, we have to have a car, or you better know the bus system really well and have a bike. So that seemed kind of weird that she could easily be like downtown Chicago and then get to Joe Schmo's place, Ezekiel's place with her little wagon. Like that was weird to me. So I was like, this is not Schaumburg. Like, what the hell is this? And I used to go to Chicago once a year for a long time for an anime convention. So I would stay a little bit over to hang out with friends. I lived there for a week until I got cheated on. He tried to be like, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I've seen lots of different sides of Chicago. Went to parties. Doesn't make sense for you to go really nice white suburb from city, like with a little wagon towing Iron Man cosplay. So no, that's definitely not believable. But
you know, so they didn't show Chicago too truthfully. Then all right, cool.
It was too clean. It was way too clean.
Yeah,
like it. I wouldn't say it's like nitty gritty like New York, like whoa, but like it has grime, and you can make it more real. And that mural of Gary and Natalie. You can bet your ass there would be extra graffiti on that shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Depends on when it was done, though.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
It does not matter.
If it was done that day.
On it.
It was
done like, I don't know, like an hour ago or something. Like it could have been just finished because they don't say when it was done.
No, they did because Xavier came up and like he's like, oh, Riri, like I want to come show you something I did a long time ago.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 while you were off at university.
All right, fair.
Also, yeah, so we'll get into that part later. But that would not hold up. That would not hold up at all. So
should they do it to? They did it to Nipsey Hussle's mural. They did it to Kobe's mural, and that had his daughter on it too. They did it to Pop Smoke's mural over here. Yeah, that's a regular thing.
Graffiti, yeah. All right. I mean, yeah, no, that happens over here as well. When you see some of the murals go up, you know, there's a few. I would say all. Well, put it this way: you have like there's definitely like some street arts, like official street art, people who like been commissioned to paint on buildings and things like that, and you'll see quite a few of those, and quite a few of them seem to survive not getting graffitied over here. But yeah, occasionally like a mural or stuff like that, and somebody would do like a graffiti tag over it or something, and yeah, it won't maybe not be like right away, but like I don't know, maybe a few weeks later or something, you might see something like that. But yeah, that does happen. It's a shame, but it does happen. I mean, I don't mind graffiti as a general thing, but yeah, certain things should be left. So, like graffitiing over somebody else's artwork, regardless of whether it's a mural or not. I feel like graffitiing over somebody else's artwork, that's not cool, man. There's plenty of blank walls around.
There's that street in London where it's like you're able to graffiti, like you're free to do that. There's like an underpass.
Oh yeah. Don't remember the name of it right now, but I know I've seen it. Yeah, I've been through there. I just don't remember. I can't remember where or what it's called, but yeah, you'll see people's graffiti. There's loads, and it's just I haven't been there for a while now. But yeah,
over someone else's graffiti,
Yeah.
Like I just think it would be better if we had sanctioned areas where it's just like, hey, we want you to graffiti here, as opposed to like, okay, we're gonna pay this person to make a mural. So it's like, it'd be nice if we could have more sanctioned areas where it's just like, I know there are gangs that are like, oh, we want to tag this so we know it's our gang area. So if someone does something, but I'm just like, but if you're just a little kid, just be like, I'm just like, man, that sucks. You just ruined a really nice mural. Like, really? I'll cut your pinky off.
All right, speaking of graffiti, real quick, actually. Oh yeah, pinky. Real quick, because like there's a graffiti artist in London, and well, he's not just in London. He's quite worldwide. But he's definitely very, very prolific in London. In that anywhere you go in London, you're gonna see his tag. Like he has literally tags just about everywhere in London, like north, south, east, west, like places that aren't even that popular. Like he's got his tags in like train stations, shops. He's tagged so much of London. It's a guy called 10 Foot.
Is he the space alien guy? Wait, hold on. Let me double check. I think I heard
you know what? I think if you like that kind of. Let me just. But what I wanted to ask, have you? Because apparently he's tagged other parts of the world, including New York. I wanted to ask real quick: have you seen 10-foot tags around New York or Copenhagen, or is he
Oh
there as
no,
well? Because he's definitely around a lot in London and apparently in
no,
other parts of the world as well.
I haven't seen this guy before. I was thinking about someone else. Who the hell am I thinking of?
All right, let me see here. This is
Oh, okay. So the person I'm
maybe one
thinking
of his
of,
popular tags.
well,
Okay,
your thing's
yes.
not. Yeah, no.
Sorry, that's
Yeah, I have not seen that, but I was talking about Invader. Invader is a street artist, so completely different person.
all right. Never mind then. So you're not seen him around. Cool. Okay. But yeah, apparently he's like people. I've heard he's tags places in New York and other parts of America. But yeah, if you come London, well, you've been in London, so you know. But yeah, in London, he's literally everywhere. Like the dude is in so many places. Like he's just driving around, and you just see 10-foot. 10-foot, north, south, east, west, central, 10-foot, 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 train stations, bridges, 10-foot, 10-foot, 10-foot. Like is everywhere. Like he's easily the hardest working graffiti artist. He's just everywhere. But yeah, he probably would have tagged that burial too, actually. All right then. Let's see here. So who was the most standout character for you guys? Let's start with Celeste. Who was your most standout character in the Ironheart show?
So I really liked Riri's mom because she still played it cool. She wasn't really like overreacting a lot of it. She was just acting like a normal mom. Every scene that she had, it was just very human in a way of like, oh my god, I'm shocked. Oh my god, this is AI thing. Like I got a knife here. Don't make me use it. And she's like, no, oh my god. It was like, so she felt really normal for the lines that she was giving and the direction. But I feel like it was just kind of strange in a sense of like, wait, how does she have all this money? Like out of nowhere, she's like keeping Gary's garage open. And then later we see her buy back the car. So it's like, what is your job? What is your job that you can afford that cute little apartment
Magic. It's
up
magic.
there in Chicago? So I'm just like, And like, I feel like the Hood was interesting, but it just got kind of like, I think the Hood itself was just weird to his character. On like, okay, it's got magical powers, but we didn't understand, like, for me, I didn't really understand like the whisperings and all that stuff until Mephisto was revealed. And like, but in that essence, when he's like, oh, you're not helping me, give me more power, he's like, oh, you haven't been getting my messages. He's like, oh, the veins were his messages. And I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, okay, you're giving him power through veins, but it doesn't, all he does is go invisible. Like, how is that supposed to help him? Like, is that truly a really good superpower to have? And like, you can control your bullets. Like, could we have explored that a little bit more? Yes. And I think that was a little just disappointing on that fact for him. But him as a character was very torn apart, where you find out like at the age of 12, his dad, the rich CEO guy, kicked him out. It's like, oh, like you don't know what to do when you're 12. Like, Jesus Christ, no wonder you went to like theft. And it's just a little sad. But I think he was really powerful in his scenes that he had. He was really chillax with his crew, and it was just nice. And then, of course, like he lost it when he lost his brother. I'm like, dude, he's spiraling just like Riri. Yeah, Riri was good. But again, like her source material, there were just times where it's like, oh god, just rip my wisdom teeth out. I'm waiting. Like the scenes with her and Nat were just so, I don't even want to call it vanilla. It was like salt. I was like, oh, there's too much of it. Like make it make sense. So like I would have to say Hood and the mom. Like mom was just so powerful, and like I really like those two characters.
All right. And Sweet, how about yourself? Who was the most standout character or characters for you?
For me, I would say Hood, and I want to say Riri, but again, there's like, you know what? I'll say Riri. Yeah, Riri and Hood for sure. Even though there's like quite a few things that was troublesome about her that I already went over, and even like as you said, Celeste, she's smart, but she's dumb. She does a lot of dumb shit. And I think despite that, she really did get to show like she's deeper than just some smart kid and that's it. She got a lot of problems, and not once did I look at this character and say, yo, I don't like this character. What I wanted was just to get her to sit down and say, yo, cut the fucking bullshit with the attitude out. What's going on? Talk. And I think there was a scene similar to that with her mom, kind of like buckling her down and saying, talk to me. What's going on? And I like that. And I just wish that they kind of allowed her to really go further into it. But it's like throughout the whole fucking season, and these episodes felt long to me, longer than they should have been, maybe. But it felt like, all right, Riri, it's time to talk about your trauma. No, I'm not ready yet. All right, Riri, it's time to talk about your trauma. I'm not ready yet. Riri, is it time? No, I'm not ready yet. Last episode, and after all the bullshit, now we got magic and devils involved and everything. You ready to talk about your trauma? All right, I'll talk about it a little bit, but we don't really get into it. I don't know how to explain how frustrating that is, because the theme of the show, you could tell they want to talk about something deeper, but they did not carry it out properly. Now, about Hood, I liked what he had to offer, and I felt like even his crew and everything, I liked it, but they dismantled that shit so fast just for convenience. Like that last interaction that she has when she has to fight them when they're going, first off, for them to even just say, oh, we got to kill her, okay, but then they get mad that Rampage was killed. That doesn't make sense. So then even beyond that, she's confronted by them, and it's like she kind of saw them coming, but she didn't really get to, like, what would have been smarter and better is if she had laced the place with traps. Like she had the whole fucking thing ready for them, little nano drones or whatever ready for them, because they are a team that have been pulling off incredible heists, and all of a sudden they just don't know what to do. First off, just those twins going up to Riri and them getting that close to her, that would have been a wrap. They weren't even hesitating because like they were questioning it. No, it was just for convenience and plot armor, and that's what it came off as. Even with the other obstacle, Joe powered up. He shows up. Oh, I'm gonna let you go. Get out of here, scram! Like what the fuck is going on? But yeah, that's. But despite all that, those are my two standout characters from the season.
Actually, no, that did remind me of something, because that scene in the diner. Where she's talking to Zelma, and then the gang come up because they've been told to kill her. That scene. Yeah, I did kind of feel like. I mean, I get it. Of course, she's the star, so she's gonna have to get away, and that's fine. The way in which it happened. I mean. Those the two sisters, they would have whooped her ass. Come on, like Cree has,
I think they had like some super sisters. Strength too, if I'm not mistaken.
Just good at fighting, actually, or I don't know. I don't know if they had did they have superpowers? I think they were just good at fighting because they had like that underground, or they wanted to start an underground fight club. And
yes. So Jerry Blood used to be an athlete, and they were both street fighting to make money, and that's how they got kicked out of school. Wow. So they just knew how to fight really well, and because they were athletes, they were strong.
But they would have whooped her ass, because like Riri hasn't been shown to be a fighter like that. I mean, what I liked about Riri's character is that she's not afraid to stand up to people that are clearly like bigger and stronger than her, and I think that's really cool. But as far as physical fighting goes, she hasn't been shown to be any kind of fighter. And granted, of course, when you're in a situation like certain instincts kick in, and just because you're not good at fighting don't mean you still want to survive, right? So you're gonna do what you're gonna do. As I get it, but at the same time, I did feel like the moment any of them get their hands on it, it's over. As far as Zeke letting her go, that I didn't mind so much, because that kind of made sense to me, because he's not the bad guy. You know what I mean? He's not really out to get her like that. He was a bit of course he's pissed off because of what happened, and how he ended up going to prison because effectively because of Riri dropping that was it, that skin covering technology thing, and it got links back to him. So yeah, he's pissed at her. Every right to be, but in the day he's not the villain. So like him just like roughing her up, letting her go and saying, look, just get out of here, because the Hood's gonna want to kill you if he finds you're alive. That made sense to me, because he wasn't trying to be like, yeah, I'm evil now. That so him letting her go made sense. But the bits before that, I was like, yeah, especially with the two sisters, I was like, yeah, come on. You're not.
So I was like, what's the deal with this guy? Because like when they revealed that he's Obadiah Stane's son, I like looked it up, And so apparently he is supposed to be like an arch enemy of Iron Man. So he's supposed to turn into a bad guy.
Okay, he doesn't. Well, in the comics, he turns into a bad guy. Okay. Yeah, okay, so eventually he might turn into a bad guy. Right now, he's not the bad guy, at least as far as this show goes. He doesn't seem like he's the bad guy. He's just pissed off with Riri, but not necessarily like he hates him, wants to kill her. Not necessarily like that. But yeah, for me, the standout character, like I said before, was Zelma. Apart from Zelma, though, I mean, I did like the two sisters, the blood siblings. You know, even though they don't get a whole lot of like dialogue, I like fighters. You know, like I think I've said this before, but yeah, I grew up watching like martial arts movies. So like anytime I see, you know, cool fighting in a movie, well choreographed fight scenes, you know, I like that kind of stuff, you know. So yeah, I liked, you know, the fight scenes they were in, not the Riri one, but the other fights they were in, you know, and just how they kind of, you know, move, how it's, you know, the elegance in their fighting styles was really cool. So yeah, I like them. The clown character, Sonia Denise, who plays Clown. She was kind of a cool character, but yeah, I think to Sweet Bundy's point about it, well, maybe not just her, but just guess it kind of the crew in general, but maybe she felt like, I guess, the one that was more at the forefront of it, where, you know, they're mad that he killed Rampage. But yeah, when he told him to kill Riri, they seemed like pretty on board with it. And then it was kind of only after that whole fight kind of bit, and I think something happened with Clown that I'm blanking on right now, but I felt like there was something that happened with Clown specifically where she kind of felt like she had to go, you know, question the Hood about, you know, question Parker about, you know, a Rampage. Like, he killed Rampage. Or maybe she was the one that stood up and questioned him after she was kind of the one that lied for Zeke when he told Rampage that he killed her, and he was like, nah, she whipped all our asses. And then Rampage came, and Zeke came, and you know, he crushed her up, and that was a liar. She lied to him to cover sort of his story. So she was a cool character, but then also, yeah, those bits kind of felt a bit like out of place. But yeah. So a few things. I mean, that's the thing about these shows, though. I mean, not like modern shows. I mean, like, I get why a lot of seasons, a lot of shows have a low episode count now. I get it. There's so many shows right now. People aren't gonna watch 20 plus episodes anymore of a season. I get we're long past those areas where you could have 20 episodes and fully flesh out every single character and do all the things you need to do. We're long past that. We're gonna get 6 episodes, maybe 8 at the most. Very rarely you might even get 13. But I get why we're in this kind of very short episodes per season era. It makes sense because of just so much to watch. But also, it's like I feel like there's that the issue is that you don't always get these stories as clearly defined as they need to be, you know. And although I feel like this one did make sense throughout, yeah, you are going to get those bits where it's like something happens, there's something else happens, and it's not fully explained what the in-between was, you know, and you just kind of have to go with it because, you know, it's just, all right, cool. So, yeah, that's kind of my gripe with a lot of modern shows, is that they don't always kind of flesh out those small in-betweens where you're like, okay, this happened, but what's the connection, you know? Although I do feel like this did a pretty good job overall, yeah. It did mess up in parts, or I don't know, maybe not mess up is the right way to describe it. Maybe it's just time restraints and things get cut out of the in the editing room. I don't know, but yeah, maybe one more episode might have solved those issues. Maybe,
or just cut out all of the unnecessary.
Yeah, because honestly, when I watched it, I was like, damn, this episode feels long, and then I would look at the time and it's only like 45 minutes. And I think that's just because it's too much bulk. Honestly, the story just needed a whole different direction. It should have been grounded. What they should have done is show her own path to getting this suit, not just having it from the jump. Then it gets taken away from her and she has to rebuild it like it's a video game or some shit. Just have her go through her own journey and see how she builds her own pieces. I didn't like that this girl was able to go ahead and sell these technical things, but not get a job for it. Just like you mentioned earlier, right off the bat, with everything that she was able to do. And first off, I just want to say on a side note, I forgot to mention, I was so happy when I saw Jim Rash. That's I don't know if any, I know that you guys probably didn't watch it, but he's from the Community. He played the Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Oh my God. I was so fucking happy. And
for
then devastated when they took him away. I was like, he's not coming back? Yo.
One hit wonder.
Oh man. But anyway, that's my standout character too. Shit, throw him in there. But yeah, I didn't like how it just transformed into a story about magic, and it didn't have to. What we should have done is seen, like you said, I really like the idea of her losing her job and just not getting hired, because maybe they should have showed a montage of her getting fired by all these companies, all these tech companies, because she keeps risking shit. She wants to do her own style and go by her own rules, but in practice it's not working. Didn't see her go into crime for whatever so she could fund her own things and continue her research and everything. That would make sense for her to run into this group and then have to outsmart them. That should have been the story pretty much. Now, I would say about Hood, the confusion with him, it is a lack of explanation in the story, really, or they kind of breeze over it, because I was familiar with him through the mobile game that they have, Marvel Snap. So that's how I knew about Hood. So the moment they said Hood, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a demon. Da, da, da. I already knew. I didn't know about Mephisto. That was a surprise. But what a waste to introduce him into this. It's kind of like I'm not on the same level as because it wasn't bad, but it was a waste, as in like when they introduced Kang pretty much in fucking Ant-Man. Not to say that they introduced him officially in that, but that was his debut. That was the first time he was going to show I'm Kang, and he gets his ass kicked by Ant-Man. Like, what the fuck? Anyway,
yeah. I
he
feel
didn't really
like
get his ass kicked by Ant-Man. He got bested, but he didn't really get his ass kicked.
Nah, he got his ass kicked.
I mean,
He went out screaming. He was like, the fucking big ass ant carried him, or some shit. He got sucked into a black hole. He got his ass kicked.
He got bested. He didn't get his ass kicked. I mean, Ant-Man kind of, from what I remember, Ant-Man kind of got lucky at the end. I also remember Ant-Man had help. Ant-Man did have help as well.
Or is that Quantumania?
Quantumania.
Yeah, I just skipped that one because I got to get in time,
Kang was actually introduced in the Loki series.
Yes.
Skip that too. I mean, that was really good.
It's not for everybody. Yeah, I liked the first season. I didn't watch the second season.
Oh, it's mainly because I'm trying to make sure I can watch all of them. So I'm going back. I'm going to do the complete timeline properly. I think I'm doing the complete timeline with my husband, and he and I are supposed to watch The Winter Soldier. And then I looked at the timeline. After The Winter Soldier, you're supposed to watch, I think, Age of Ultron, or you go directly into the Netflix miniseries of like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Defenders, then Age of Ultron. I'm like, holy crap. That is a lot. I'm like,
I mean, it kind of depends on which order you want to watch them in, because you can watch them in release order, which is the easiest way to do it, because you can just look at the release dates. Or you could try to watch them in chronological order, but then you have to figure out when they're set, and that's not always.
You don't have to do that. There's an actual line that Disney has. You can scroll on the Marvel page. You scroll down.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah. Got the Disney, do that.
Or you go through the complete timeline with the miniseries and the mini episodes in between too. Because we watched all of Agent Carter. Now that was good, but yeah, we gotta work through it. So there is a way for you to do it properly.
Yeah. You got the Infinity Saga. Let's see. They got here Infinity Saga, MCU Multiverse Saga. But yeah, they did. They still have like all in order though.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of these lines. Like, oh yeah, here we go. MCU complete timeline, and yeah, it looks like it's in chronological because it's got Captain America, First Avenger, the first one, and Agent Carter. Then it goes to Captain Marvel, then Iron Man 2. Okay, so that's in chronological order.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to watch in chronological order, just go to MCU complete timeline on Disney Plus, and that'd be all the movies. Okay, yeah, do that.
I'm coming off on Sweet Buzz's little comment on how she should have been like kicked out of jobs. The show could have really had something really good if they had Riri trying to sell AI Can you imagine
Yes.
a 19-year-old selling an advanced AI like Natalie, who's like, no, please don't do this. I'm your AI. I don't want millions of me. I like it's almost like a repeat of Age of Ultron, kind of quote unquote. But it's like, but you know, what if someone just steals her stuff? So she has to go back and steal it herself. And that's how she gets the team. And then they steal too much. And then she's got to stop the team. Like, wouldn't that have been better for a 6-episode series? Like, I think that would have been so much better. It would have been so much better, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, easily. Hire me, Disney, again. Third time's the charm. I've worked
But
for
you've
them.
worked for Disney twice?
Yeah, you can check my credits. On MOBA games, you can find me under many Disney games. I worked on Disney Infinity and Disney Interactive. And then I worked on the Disney movie Secretariat. And that Disney, I've done a lot, guys. I've been around the Disney.
I'm looking you up on the movie database right now.
Yeah, if you search IMDb Marissa Floro, you can see I worked on Secretariat, which is a Disney film. And then if you go to MOBA game,
you got costume
MLB
designer, 9 Ways to Hell.
Yep, scroll down.
Oh yeah, here we go. Secretariat on the costume department, costume production assistant on Secretariat.
Yep.
Also Samurai Ghostbusters.
Yep.
And here we go. We got actress, the co-ed and the zombie stoner. Actress, Samurai Ghostbusters, not Ghostbusters, the 23 director's cut, and then 9 Ways to Hell.
And I have a few self credits as well. But if you go to MOBY games, like Moby Dick games, and then search Celeste, Marissa Floro, you'll see that I worked on Disney Infinity and Frozen Free Fall. I also did some sign off on other games, but it was not enough to warrant credit, unfortunately.
Yeah, Marissa.
I've done stuff. Like, I don't.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, yeah, I'll be quiet. What did you find?
Be too loud. Okay, so yeah, Marissa Floro. Let's say we got The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Archangel. Was it Archangel? I might be saying that wrong. Archangel. Mm-hmm. Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, Frozen. Oh, that's awesome. He was in Frozen. Frozen Free Fall, Snowball Fight. Disney Infinity 3.0 Edition Starter Pack. Disney Infinity Toy Box 2.0 and Disney Infinity Edition 2.0 Marvel Superheroes.
So the dump got those like slightly wrong because it says Xbox One and Windows. And I'm just like, I was a PlayStation tester. That's not correct, but you know, it's universal.
Probably just puts that over, yeah. Yeah, we have a legit star is
so
basically the message.
Don't think I don't know what I'm talking about. I got receipts. Fuck off. Anyways, surprise.
But yeah, so where we at? So
yeah, you should have sold AI.
That they could have done. Sold AI, had a job. Yeah, I mean that could have been interesting actually because I mean AI, does come up in the show with Natalie, and you know like you guys were saying they don't really delve too much into the ethics of it. I mean it kind of gets brought up a little bit, but not in any deep way. Again, 6 episodes, so yeah, I guess you kind of have to pick and choose what you focus on. But yeah, it could have been interesting if they kind of delved a little bit deeper into the AI side of things, and with creating something that's so close to a human, to the point where it behaves just exactly like the real Natalie did. Like even though it's not, it's her memories of her. But yeah, it's her mannerisms, all the kind of nuances, they're all there. And that kind of, because that's a thing where it's like if you think about a person that even a person you know really well, there's things that you'll know about them that you don't necessarily know that you know about them. You know what I mean? Like if you spend a lot of time with somebody, there's things that you're going to know about how they act and how they behave and how they walk or how they talk and how they sit. And, or if they're feeling sad and any kind of, there's things you'll know about them that you don't necessarily know that you know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily like on the forefront of your brain. You just kind of know it. So if there's like a thing that downloaded your memories of somebody, without you realizing, I imagine it would be incredibly detailed based on all those little nuances that we pick up on that we don't necessarily fully realize that we're picking up on. But yeah, you create somebody that is as close, or create an AI rather, that is as close to a human as you can get. And yeah, they don't really go much into, well, what can that mean? And granted, Riri didn't know exactly how it was done because, she fell asleep and all that kind of stuff. But then you'd think like if that gets known, somebody's going to want to know more about it, right? Like, like some of the reasons why superheroes keep their identity a secret, because if it gets known who they are, they might get a bunch of people trying to run experiments on them, and they ain't trying to live like that. So yeah, but anyway, it could have been interesting, but unfortunately it wasn't that. But I don't think it was too bad, but hey.
Yeah, because she brought it up to Zeke, and she's like, what do you think if like a neural brain scanner worked to provide an AI? And he's like, that seems impossible. And then, she could have gave it to him to test it out for himself to bring back his dead dad. And then, that could have been another like branch way of like, oh yeah, now we got to stop this super villain now because I gave him my code, right? So they could have done so much better with the story than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of things they could have done though, you mentioned Sweet about her getting a job, and she had like a montage of her getting a job and getting fired from various jobs. Yeah, I feel like something like that could have given the character maybe just a little bit more of a desperation, like, because of course there's a lot that happens in between Wakanda Forever and the start of this show. We don't see it all, but we kind of have an idea of basically what's going on. And clearly one of those things is the need for money. And I think we could understand as people who have all had jobs, right? We know that a regular 9-to-5 job isn't going to pay the amount of money that she needs. We get that, but at the same time, as somebody who is still young, 19, and yeah, she's a genius, so I'm sure she understands that as well. But at the same time, it's like, should your first thing have been go straight to the illegal route? Like, could it have been maybe, I know the legal route is going to be slow, but I want to try and do things the right way. And then, but yeah, you see her getting fired, and maybe she's trying to get promotions, but of course can't get promotions because she's never there because she's too busy working on her suit, things like that. So yeah, perhaps a montage or some kind of scene or explanation like that could have given the characters a little bit more of a desperation. So by the time the Hood approaches her, approaches her through John, and they're talking about oh, I can give you all the money, and and things you need to do, the things you want to do. So the way they did it, we understand why she went with him. Had they done a scene like that, I could have added just a little bit more of a don't do it, Riri, don't do it. But of course, we understand the desperation a bit more. So yeah, that could have worked. Let's see then. So in terms of the show, let's say like the overall kind of message of the show, or is that right word to use? But yeah,
Like
let's go with
morality?
message. Yeah, let's go with message. Like, what did you think that was? Like, what did you think fundamentally the show was trying to do? Like, not necessarily what you hoped it would do or things like that, but what did you think from what they presented? What did you feel like the show was trying to do? Let's start with Sweet Bundy.
I felt like the show was focusing on too many things, and it got lost. On one end, they wanted to talk about trauma and overcoming that grief and accepting that. Then another side, they wanted to talk about, just overall morality, as you mentioned. Because they test that with Mephisto, how far is Riri going, and testing her with when it comes to John's death, how is questionable, how she is responsible for his death. She may not have killed him, but she is responsible for him dying. And just the weight of that too, the weight of like how far she's going down this quote unquote dark path. But it just gets so fucking cluttered with so many things that they wanted to do, and that was the cause of just a lack of direction for the story itself. How we went from technology to magic, and don't get me wrong, it could work, right? But it just didn't. They didn't have the time to do that. It was just like, hey, jump into it, demons, magic, also technology, but yeah, they wanted to talk about so many things, and they didn't really focus on it good enough for me. Like I said, I wanted to see more of her dealing with Natalie. Like they had that one scene where they're at the park, and I thought, okay, this is it. This is when they're going to get into it, and they're going to talk about the fact that she gets to talk to somebody that was taken away from her like that. Somebody, imagine that, like, not to get too deep, but when it comes to death, somebody is frozen in time pretty much, right? Whereas you have to continue living on your life. So just imagine you're talking to this person as if they never left, and they're stuck in that kind of, quote unquote loop of who they are. They're stuck in that timeline, so to speak. And just having a conversation with them, that was so much potential in that. Boy, I thought, oh man, this scene is gonna make me cry. But no, they just kind of made a couple of jokes, and then they just moved on. I felt like that was so weak and so cowardly of the writers, so lazy, because this is the time to talk about it. This is the time to challenge. And even with the confrontation between Natalie and her brother, that was weak. It was expected that he wouldn't like it, but they didn't even go deeper into it. It would have been very but instead we get scenes where all of a sudden she short circuits because she's having a PTSD attack as an AI. That shouldn't happen. I don't know. It was, I forgot what the question was. Sorry.
The question was, what did you think the show was trying to?
Oh yeah, well,
what did you think
whatever they were trying to do,
what did you think the message they were trying to make was? Is the question? What did you think the message they were trying to make was?
Yeah, they didn't know what the fuck they were trying to convey. Honestly, summarize it for sure. I believe that they didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do.
How about yourself, Lady Celeste? What did you think? What did you think they're trying to do? What message do you think they were trying to convey?
You can't.
Was it just to be copy and paste?
Like,
you can't. Okay.
You can't. I felt like it was, you can't outrun your past, and then you can become like your successor. So like watch out, like how you evolve. You can become your successor. So like the Hood, he ends up like killing lots of people and doing bad, naughty things so he can get back at his dad. And then guess what? His dad's like, I had to do that shit too. You're just like me, son. And then like Zeke's like, I didn't want to be like my dad. I tried fighting like my dad. I don't want to do another Iron Man killing problem. But look at me. I got to fight this tin ass bitch. So he's like, okay, now he's actually becoming his dad. And then we don't really see Riri becoming like Gary, and she's not really becoming like her mom. So we're not going anywhere with her. So there was that morality of like, you can become like your father figure, quote unquote. And they didn't really give Riri a chance to become like Gary, even though he was her stepdad. Like I thought like that end scene where she's like, I don't want to work here, and then she gets the memory. That memory, tearjerker. I didn't have tears coming down, but I was so close. I was like holding it in. I was like, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve any of that. But I felt the emotion. And then she got hit on the head, and he's like, you got an iron head. And I was like, waiting for it. I was so excited, waiting to hear them say, oh no, but you got an iron heart. I was like, the fuck is this? Iron Head series? Why the fuck didn't they say it? I like it when I hear the title of the name in the show. When Family Guy, they like meta that shit. I like that. Or like Iron Man's like, yeah, make it Fire Engine Red. Iron Man. Yeah, I am Iron Man. Like, they missed that opportunity, and I'm so hurt. But you can't outrun your past, because both our protagonist and antagonist can't outrun like their post-trauma stress, So Riri can't get over that with the death of her stepfather and her best friend. And then not Stain, but the Hood, Parker, he's like, oh, I can't get over the fact that Daddy, Mr. Rich Man, kicked me out at 12. Like, who does that? Apparently that guy did, and that's why you can't get over yourself. So those are my takeaways of the stories that they really wanted to push. Did it fit every character? No, but it was an ongoing theme, and a lot of people tried to address it, but the only ones that did address it ended up fulfilling like part of that. So Zeke and the Hood ended up becoming just like their dads. Riri, she's still fighting her past or something. She's just not fleshed out. And I really hated how at the end she's talking to Mephisto. I'm just like, okay, is this the moment where we get the iron heart? Are you gonna say I have a heart of iron and I don't believe in magic? And I'm like, oh yes, reject that bitch. And it didn't happen. So we don't know if that's what Happy But yeah, it definitely ain't Ironheart. Heart of gold, heart of iron, heart of metal, none of that shit. No. So there you go. There's my takeaway line, quote, story, morality thing. I don't
All
really
right,
know.
cool. No, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there was that thing about not being able to outrun your past, especially with Parker the Hood and so excuse me, Zeke, Joe McGillicuddy, Ezekiel Stain. Because yeah, I mean that was like they were both trying to not be like their father, especially with Zeke. He was trying everything to not be like him, and then to be fair, he doesn't end up like him by the end of the season, but he could possibly be heading in that direction if he ain't careful. So there was that. And with Hood, like his dad kicks him and out at 12, and he's just been spending all his time trying to get revenge or whatever, and then he finally catch up to his way, and it's like, yeah, like I kicked you out because I didn't really want you anyway. Just for me, like, yeah, I don't really want you around anyway. It's like, he's a cold bastard. At least he's honest. But yeah, and he kind of ends up taking that position, and you think all the people that Parker's hurt or killed along the way to get to that bit. And then with Riri, I guess it wasn't so much trying to be like her dad, but I think the whole thing about not being able to outrun your past is still there, because she spends a lot of time not trying to think about that day, when they got killed, or just him in general. Like, she kind of doesn't avoid thinking about him. And it was only because the AI nasty was like, you have to, if you she said something about if you avoid the pain, or if you avoid the painful memories, you'll block out the beautiful ones, or something along those lines. It was basically like what they did with Inside Out, with the whole thing about sadness and happiness and joy rather. You can't just focus so much on joy, because the sadness is part of what makes joy as well. So it was kind of like that a little bit. So yeah, there was elements of trying to run away from those scenes, those parts of her life that were so traumatizing for her. But you have to face that, because that's part of who you are. It's part of what makes you who you are. And there's also the beautiful memories in there, like, when she was being a kid in the garage and, laying and the spanner filling their head and that whole thing. And yeah, it could have been cool if they did it, if they dropped an Ironheart line there. I mean, it would have been corny, but sometimes corny's cool too. So yeah, but yeah, they didn't. But yeah, for me, I feel like one of the things they're trying to do, or one of the messages they're trying to make, was this was about decisions, and how we're just being human. We could be super smart, super determined, super focused on trying to do all these things. But we're human, and humans do very often make bad decisions, and Riri makes quite a few bad decisions. As smart as she is, as much of a genius as she is, she makes bad decisions. And those bad decisions, at least quite a few of those bad decisions, they're not, I don't want to say justifiable, don't want to say that, but they're certainly understandable on a human level, like based on feelings, based on her connection to her friends, especially, with the AI and Natalie at the end. And it's very much a thing of like, we could all, as outsiders, look at it and be like, that's the wrong choice, to make the deal with, and especially when he's not even telling you what he's going to take. He's like, oh, it's something you want, man. So he's not even telling you what it is. You're right. So it's such a bad decision from any kind of logical point of view. And somebody who's a genius should see that. And I reckon she does see that. But at the same time, like, the overwhelming feeling of just wanting your friend back at any cost, so yeah, I feel like I think there's a few other people I've seen say this as well, but there are definitely parallels between Riri and Tony Stark, in terms of how they're driven and how they make decisions in some cases as well. Like, they don't always make the smart decisions for a genius. They make decisions sometimes out of fear, out of emotion, out of a want of something that going into areas that you shouldn't really be messing around with. Like somebody's passed away, bringing them back is not an area, whether through science or magic. And even the magicians were telling them like you're messing around with very dangerous magic. And Zelma said that there's always a cost. There is always a cost, right? And that I think if they do a season 2, hopefully they do, but if they do a season 2, I think that could potentially be a thing that comes up there. Like, what is the cost of things? Because everything will cost you something, right? Everything, no matter what, will cost you something. We just don't know what that cost is just yet. But yeah, I felt like, being human, being a genius, but still, being human and making decisions that aren't always in line with what you should be doing. I feel like that was something they were trying to convey. That it's not to say that to encourage it, at least I don't feel they were trying to encourage it, but also like just say like, yeah, we aren't perfect, we're not perfect people, we are flawed, and we act out of those flaws, and we don't always recognize where our flaws are, no matter how smart we may be. So self-awareness is key.
You know what would have been fun?
What's that?
If they actually did bring out like crystals and like sage and try to do like the home TikTok kind of things with the mom and be like, just, Mom, do you have any stuff? And she's like, no, this ain't it. She's like, just give it a try, honey. Wouldn't it be funny if they had that little moment? Because like in the beginning, she's like, oh, I got black obsidian, and I'm like, yeah, that does help. I mean, if you believe into it, but
I kind of liked, by the way, I kind of liked how the mother, Riri's mother, didn't know that Cree Summers' character was an actual witch. What's that character's name? Was it Monroe something? I can't remember. But
her name is Madeline Stanton.
Madeline Stanton, yeah. I like that she didn't know she was an actual witch. Like, she just kind of thought she was just into these kind of like spiritual hokey cokey stuff. But then no, she's actually a witch. Like, she actually does actual magic. Like, and yeah, that was pretty cool. That was kind of like you find out as we're finding out, So that was really cool. I thought that was cool.
I thought that was like superb acting. That's why I think she's such a great actress. It's like, wait, you're actually a witch? What happened? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're my best friend. You never told me about this. Like, this doesn't, like, secret revealed.
But yeah, magic in the MCU. I mean, that's I guess it's been in the MCU for a good minute now, but I guess it's looking, at least from recent-ish shows and stuff, it looks like it's going to be, or potentially going to be, a big thing going forward. I mean, we still have to come the Fantastic Four movie, which is out in a couple of days as we're recording this. It might be out already by the time this video goes live.
No, 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah, a couple of days. Yeah, what did I say? I said a couple of days. What did I say?
Yeah, a couple of days.
Couple of days. Yeah, cool. So yeah, out in a couple of days. But yeah, and Fantastic Four, I guess they're more science-based with like Reed Richards and that kind of thing. But I mean, be interested to see how it kind of, because the way they did it with this show, like blending the magic and the science, it was kind of cool, but also like it left a lot open. There was a lot unexplained, like, when Natalie disappeared and it was like, oh, we have no idea why. Which I guess is fair. They didn't really know how Natalie was fully created, so I guess it makes sense. They don't know how Natalie disappeared either. But yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, so we're combining magic and science, cool. But then, yeah, it didn't go much further than, being able to blast magic beams out of her hand, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, it looks like it could be, or potentially could be a big thing. I guess seeing how they blend the science-based characters with the magic-based characters, and maybe somebody like Riri who's already combining both the magic and the science, and see how that plays out going forward. But what do you guys think of the potential future for things like magic and science, and a mixture of magic and science in the MCU?
Go ahead, Bundy.
Yeah, I mean, it could work. We've seen, Doctor Strange and everything, and with Mr. Fantastic coming into play, it would be cool to see those two clash a little bit, even if it's just, them talking like two smartasses, similar to Doctor Strange and Iron Man having their little spiffs or whatever. I'm very excited to see that, but it has to be done properly. And I think with this show, the writers just got distracted or something. Again, I don't see it as a bad show. It just has moments that are just disappointing, or the writing is just bad. And yeah, that I think that's the reason why in this case where magic and science clashed, it didn't work. It was just lazy writing. They didn't pay attention to the details, because one thing that I had somebody, one of the professors told me in college, man, it stayed with me. He said, and I'm going to paraphrase it here. He said, reality doesn't have to make sense. Fiction does. And I felt like that shit is powerful for writers to go ahead and keep that in mind, because you are creating this universe. So you have to make it make sense. You can't just go ahead and say, oh, that's just life, or, oh, we'll make it work. And that's the lazy route. Sit there and think about it. You're creating this plot point. Think of why it's there and what can these characters do? Why are they doing what they're doing? Take your time. Maybe they didn't have time. Who knows? But yeah, once it happens, magic and science is going to be fun as hell, and it has to be Doctor Strange and Mr. Fantastic. I cannot wait.
How much yourself, Celeste? What do you think of the potential future for magic and science, and how they might mix in the MCU?
I'm really pissed off about it because they killed off Wanda. Like, okay, in other multiverses, she probably exists. But, I feel like Wanda could have still been there. Like, she shouldn't have had to have, like, oh, she's so OP and she's out. I do think we've had her magic be there for a long time. And then we get some grandeur place, Wundagore, with this fucking cool-ass, like, hieroglyphs and evil shit. Like, how many more places are like that we haven't seen? Like, now Wong is like Sorcerer Supreme. So what do you know, Wong, that we don't? Like, about Wundagore? Is there another place that has like all super awesome, like just holy kind of like white magic kind of stuff? Because we know about dark magic, but no. So I'm like, I know it can exist, but fusing it into tech reminds me a lot of Arcane. And that kind of like, I'm just like, I don't know if they did that in the comics. I don't know if there's a lot of other things where it's just like, oh, this is what happens, XYZ. Because like the Hulk is exposed to gamma radiation. That's why he turns into the big, mean green guy. And it's like, that just makes sense. It makes sense because this is what happens. Like Fantastic Four, they get scientifically exploded somehow. I forget how. And then they become these crazy people with powers. Spider-Man got bit by a spider. So it's like, now we're introducing people sapping energy from the dark dimensions to be able to cast magic. But it doesn't make sense on how did you learn how to do that? You have all these ancient texts, but who wrote these texts? Like, I want to know. And is there going to be a story on it? Like, apparently in the MCU, Wanda and her brother Quicksilver were born at Wundagore. And I was reading about that because I was like, what the fuck is this place? Why is it so cool? I love this. Like, the more goth crazy shit, like, I love that. And then you just had to destroy it. Why? Is it so expensive with CGI? I'm like, okay, well, this fucking sucks balls. But then you have someone like America coming in. Control my powers? Well, I was just so scared of the bee. I blasted my parents into the multiverse that I don't know where they are anymore. I'm like, that fucking sucks. And I don't care for you. I don't. So it sucks when you have characters like Agatha all along. Like Agatha is a witch where she's like, okay, she got her powers because she was part of a coven and everyone didn't like the fact that she was not controlling her powers. So then they tried to kill her instead. Her kind of powers like sucked in other people's powers, thus killing all these other witches. That's how she became OP. And then, Wanda, she's just a psycho bitch, I guess. That's just what happened because she was born in Wundagore. So it's like, okay, what kind of goat did you sacrifice for her to be so OP to be the Scarlet Witch? Like, why is it just this one? That's the other thing too. Zelma could be the next mantle of the Scarlet Witch because when she was in her little magic doodads, like the magic circles, I love those things. Very dangerous, you never know what's gonna happen. But she could be the next Scarlet Witch. And I'm just like, I'm okay with that. I am okay if Zelma becomes a Scarlet Witch, like continuous kind of person. You know what I mean? Because like, it's like the Phoenix Force, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Phoenix Force is like an entity that possesses or inherits someone, and then they get all the psionic power of the Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, yeah, that goes to Emma Frost, and Emma Frost is like, this is damn too powerful. So she gives it to the Cuckoo Sisters. And I'm like, okay, at least it's split apart to the Cuckoo Sisters. But I'm just like, all right, but where did this come from? And why did we have to kill off Wanda? And the fact that we did a House of M, no, who was it? There was like this sad movie with Spider. You know what? Which movie was that? Do you remember?
Oh, you talking about that terrible one?
Yes.
Oh,
the one-off.
Spider Woman.
No,
Fuck.
It's not.
Fuck.
It's
What's
the
her name?
House
Madam
of
Web.
Madam Web. How could they? How could they? Like, this is why I'm very angry about the mutant magic, because Madam M was one of those prognosticators who can predict the future and help people change the outcome of it. And that's just because, like, it's clairvoyance. It's in your brain and you're just born with it. That's what happens. That's not magic. That's because you are physically, I wouldn't say physically, but you were born that way. Kind of like some people just have stretchier skin than other people, but they fuck that up and we'll never get the house of, like, kind of like rewriting the whole multiverse shit. So we're never gonna, I'm just like, that's a really powerful storyline and they chose to not go that way. So, you know, I'm just like, they're choosing some stories that are just kind of like meh. Like, it's just one-liners. Like, it's too linear for me. And it's just like, but the execution of it could be either A, really good, B, mid, or just C, I just don't really fucking care. So that's why I'm like, did we really need to make a third Fantastic Four movie? Like, you know, like, we're beating a dead horse. But I'm just like, we can't use the old Captain America. Like, we can't use old Chris Evans as Human Torch, you know? And we can't use Michael B. Jordan's Torch either. So I guess we have to, you know what I mean? Because he was Killmonger, and oh my god, was he great as that?
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking nailed it. It's so good. He's so good coming back to Wakanda Forever. It was like so.
They should have just brought his ass back to life or whatever. Shit, I would love if they even did something where, like, they had the What If series, bring him back through that. Because you already brought, supposedly is not the exact same Captain America that was there. I forgot her name. But in Multiverse of Madness, that Captain America, she is the main character in What If for season 1 and 2.
Oh, you mean America?
No. The Captain America that got killed. Remember when Wanda started killing everybody?
Yes.
When she went into the multiverse, it was that Mr. Fantastic, Professor X returned.
Oh wait, you talking about John Krasinski?
Yes.
Okay.
So that Captain America, the female Captain America, she
was like Britain.
Yeah, Captain Britain.
Well, no, but still, she was pretty much Captain America. So
yeah,
like, yeah.
The motif was the same, but yeah, what about her?
Yeah, so she's the main character of What If season 1 and 2. And shit, that she was in the first movie, the first Captain America movie. That was his love interest.
Oh, you mean Peggy Carter?
Yes. I could not remember her name for the life of me.
I was like, who the fuck are you talking about? Who are the other bitch I know that could be Captain
America? For the
America
life of me, I could not remember her name. Okay. But yeah, that's her. So to see her get killed off the way she did, and that movie was fucking nuts. But either way, they brought her from What If. They could bring Killmonger from What If easily. And Killmonger and What If, I don't know if you guys got to watch that, but that motherfucker, he went crazy. Okay, you thought he went crazy in the first movie? No, he lost his fucking mind in the What If series.
I haven't watched What If yet, so.
Oh, I watched the first season. I didn't watch the second season yet.
So you know what I'm talking about. You at least, unless you forgot.
I can't remember.
You don't have to someone to spoil it.
It's okay. No, I read everything. Like, if I read it, that's not spoiling it. I just know what happens. I don't know the lead up. I don't know my emotions at that state. I don't know how it looks. So it's not spoiling it. I just know what's going to happen in a different way. So me reading it has no empathy, emotion, no costumes. Like, it's okay. I'm cool with spoilers. TLDR.
So the best way to summarize it without getting too crazy about the details, this motherfucker Killmonger became so strong after taking out this just great monster multiverse threat that they had to just seal his ass in like this forever time loop rock or whatever. Like, the ultimate Doctor Strange had to go ahead and do that shit. And for the rest of his time, he has to watch over that to make sure Killmonger doesn't escape. That's how powerful that motherfucker became. Just fire. If they could bring that motherfucker to the MCU back, yes, easily they can. And they're supposed to be making a lot of changes. I don't believe that Wanda's actually dead, but even if she is, I feel like they're gonna bring her back because Kevin Feige is talking about he's gonna make a bunch of changes after Secret Wars, because you already because you sound like you read the comics already. So I only know about the summaries. I haven't really gotten too deep into that, but I know that Secret Wars is like a huge event that changes like the course of a lot of characters and shit. What they're planning to do with the movies is do like a soft reboot.
I'd be okay with that. Actually, like, okay, so when you were talking about John Krasinski being Mr. Fantastic, I am deeply hurt that he's not Mr. Fantastic here in this upcoming one. Why is it Pedro Pascal? It's really hurt. Like, I just watched that. I watched Black Widow too, by the way. And, like, I'm just like, wow, look at all these cool people. And like, I'm just like, why is he not back? He is so cool. Like, I first saw him in The Office, and then he was like in the army movies. I'm just like, that guy has range. He's so good. So I'm disappointed that they used Pedro Pascal. It's not like it's stupid. He's already as that character. Like, why are we rewriting it?
Killed his ass off quick too.
You know, it's crazy though. It's
I know
silly
it was like a fan
because
thing.
I'm okay with it being a fan thing in a different multiverse, but like, why does Doctor Strange get to be Doctor Strange in every multiverse? Why does Christine get to be the same Christine? Why does Mordo and Black Witch, Scarlet Witch get to all be the same person? But now we have to be in the timeline where Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic and not John Krasinski.
Well, to be fair, we don't know if he was the same person, looks the same in every multiverse. We only know he looks the same in the multiverses that they went to. Remember, there's like infinite multiverses, and they would have went to like a small percentage of them. So it just so happens that in the ones they showed in the movie, he always looks like Benedict Cumberbatch. But there could be other ones where he looks like, I don't know, Benedict not Cumberbatch.
You could have said Rick and Morty, okay? You could have said any other name.
That too.
Benedict Cumberbatch. You could have said Brad Pitt,
Yeah,
or like
Brad Pitt.
He could have been Hugh Jackman. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
But Hugh Jackman, I mean, there was like multiverses where he looks like Henry Cavill.
It's true. Oh my god. Okay, quick side question. Hold everything. Did you like the new casting of Superman as opposed to Cavill, Bandit?
I had no problem with it. I mean, I get why they I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked Cavill as Superman. I thought he was a great Superman. But yeah, for what they were going for with this movie, yeah, it made sense to just start with a different actor. It's a shame how it all went down, because I was watching some of the interviews of how it all went down, and what people were told, and messages being getting mixed, and people being told things that were so it's a shame how it all went down for sure, and definitely not fair for Cavill being told that he's back, and then but for the film that they made and what they delivered, yeah, it would have made it, to me. It made sense to go with a whole new actor, and because it was a different feel to what the Snyderverse was. A different kind of aesthetic, different kind of story, and they're basically just like not continuing that. So yeah, to me, it made sense to go with a new actor, and I liked David Corenswet Sweat as Superman. I thought he did really well. I would say also that because there's always that thing about he just puts his glasses on and everybody thinks he's Clark Kent or whatever, and how can I not tell? In this movie, the difference between Clark Kent and Superman it's pretty wide. It's the same actor, but when you see him as Clark Kent and when you see him as Superman, there's very clear differences. Hopefully that's not saying too much in terms of spoilers, but there's also actually, that would be a spoiler. I'm not saying that bit, but yeah, in terms of the physical looks, there's clear differences, and I liked that they kind of made some efforts to make him look quite different from when he's Superman to when he's Clark Kent. But yeah, no, overall, I liked the actor of Superman. I liked all the actors. I thought they all done really well. I think like a lot of people have said this as well, like the kind of standout steal the show character was Mr. Terrific. I won't say too much as to why, but yeah, I think you'll see a lot of people agreeing with that. Certainly I saw a lot of people saying that anyway. But then you obviously had Isabella. I'm not sure if it's Merkhead, but Sweet Bunny, the girl who plays Dina in The Last of Us season 2. She's in it. But yeah, I thought she did really well. Nathan Fillion was really cool as one of the Lanterns. But yeah, Nicholas Hoult, of course, as Lex Luthor.
What?
Yeah.
Nick Hoult as Lex Luthor? Why do they keep casting these scrawny guys? I hate that.
You know what? I don't want to say too much, but he let me just say he does well. He does well, and I'll leave it there.
Better than the last Lex Luthor. Like, Have we not learned that he should be big and thick like Kingpin from the Daredevil series? Oh my God, would he?
No, I think
They
they
had
did.
the guy from The Walking Dead who played the redhead dude who, I forgot his fucking name.
Okay, well, I don't know who that is because I have a hot minute.
Redhead and Walking Dead.
Yeah. Well, Celeste, you don't worry about. I mean, you're not concerned about spoilers, but you guys had Bastion along with Glenn.
I'm trying to figure.
Oh, okay.
But in short,
yeah.
he played Lex Luthor in the CW Superman, and that guy, he's pretty like muscular.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Go on.
Him as Lex fit the part so good. I've very quick. The CW's Superman and Lois, that show is not bad. That's another average show, but on a good side. There's like good average shows, and then there's bad average shows. This is Superman and Lois. That was one of the good ones. They had a lot of actors that were surprisingly. They were just a surprise to be in there, and they did not play around. They didn't just look down on the show and give you a half-ass performance. No, they went into it. I just can't remember the actor's name, and I can't look it up right now. But when he played Lex Luthor, he had this scene where he's making Bizarro, and he's like yelling at him. Like, this Bizarro is like a Superman from a fucking another universe, and that Superman gets killed partially. He reanimates the motherfucker, so he comes back. His brain is kind of rattled, and he just keeps pushing him. He keeps making him think that the original Superman killed him, and he's like, "You want to be stronger, right? You want to be stronger." And he just keeps killing him, and Superman keeps coming back stronger and slowly turning into fucking Bizarro. The intensity with that guy playing Lex Luthor, he fucking hates Spider-Man. I mean, sorry, Superman. Sorry, I started thinking about the Green Goblin, but yeah, he fucking despises Superman in that. And I hope that because as far as the part physically, this new Lex Luthor in the films, I'm with you. I think that he does not look the part at all. He looks weird. He looks like a Q-tip. Just
the other guy, Snyder.
All right, so the actor who played Abraham in Walking Dead, his name is Michael Kudlitz.
Yes,
but I would say that Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, he did really well. It's for the film they made. I would say that's not even an issue at all. For the film they made, for what they were doing, that's not an issue at all.
Okay.
It all worked. But yeah, I won't say too much more because then I'll just be getting into big spoiler territory. But I would just say that, that's not an issue. Not in my opinion.
I don't know. I mean, is he supposed to be a super young Lex Luthor? Or is he supposed to be like middle-aged Lex Luthor? Because like he just looks like he's Hitman. Like Hitman, like he could be.
You know what?
Big ass guy.
He could play a really good Agent 47.
No. Jesse Eisenberg was too thin, too scrawny, too not like I'm a handle this like mafia. Like he was not a soprano looking dude. Now they hired too clean of a dude who's got like I know his acting range. It's pretty good. I like his.
Here's what I say about this movie. If you go to see it, like I'll say this about any movie really. Is try not to have any expectations of what you think it's going to be. And I'll say that just about with any movie. Always try to go in, watch it with zero expectations. But especially a movie like this where, Superman's been around a long time, like since 50s or whatever they first made it. So there's been loads of different iterations of Superman, loads of different versions of Superman. Like 4 or 5 different actors, I think, at this point have played Superman, maybe more than that. So there's so many different versions of Superman from the comics, from the movies, from the TV shows, from the video games, all of that. And I feel like because you have a character that's been around for so long, everybody has like an idea of what they think it should be. Because they have not, maybe read it from the comics or whatever, but you have an idea what you think it should be. I will say, watching this movie, as much as possible, go in with no expectations of what you think Superman or any of the characters should be, and just like watch it and let it do what it does. But yeah, all the stuff about how they look and he's big in this and he's big, none of that matters. It's a great movie, fantastic film. It's worth watching and just letting it do what it does, and it does it well.
In the animated series, like Superman, Batman, Justice League, Lex Luthor is supposed to be like a black guy.
Yeah.
They haven't even tried making him a black guy. They've been casting white guys this entire time. Like, we could have had like freaking Terry Crews.
Shit, Idris Elba.
Oh God, that'd be such a great casting. Lord have mercy if that happened. I need to be in for that.
Was that Celeste at the cinema day one?
Where's my AI bot when I need it? Hey, put Idris Elba as Lex Luthor. You know what I mean? I'm just saying there are other variants. He doesn't have to follow comic book accurate.
Yeah.
You're right. But they haven't tried the black route either, you know?
Maybe that's the next version of Superman.
Okay, so when we're
next version of Lex Luthor, sorry. I don't know, maybe next version of Superman be a black guy. We'll see. But yeah.
Nah, the world's not ready for that yet.
I don't know.
Nah. See, me personally, I'm not going to touch on it too much, but I feel like they shouldn't do things like that because to me, I'm speaking personally, I feel like it's pandering at that point. And I'm not saying that that's the case for every situation, right? But I'd rather more like, for example, we got lucky with Spider-Man, right? Where already in the comics is already established, Miles Morales is already established, a brand new take without transforming Peter Parker. They gave us, something. And I'd rather that. Give us something new, right? And work hard on building this character than, all right, so this time we're going to make Batman black. I feel like I can't remember what film did that not too long ago, but I felt like they did that shit just for the controversy. I can't remember what it was, but it felt more like they knew it was going to get it might have been Snow White. But yeah, either way, I feel like they do it for headlines more than actually having a purpose.
You know what's funny about that? So I don't know if you guys have seen the live action How to Train Your Dragon. There is not one blonde person. Like, there are people of mixed descent in there, but there's not a single blonde person. And like, if you look at the animated show or movies, like there's a heavy reliance that they are blonde. And this is very influenced on Scandinavian culture. So you imagine at least one character would have like a speck or like more blonde hair than everything just being like dirt brown. So it's kind of like, a mark somewhere. Like, this all looks good except that hair color, maybe just lighten it. The blonde.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say, I don't have too much an issue with race changing. I mean, I'll say that. To Sweet Bundy's point, like, yeah, I'm not really interested in people just pandering if that's literally all it is. But the reality is that a lot of times when characters are created, they're not necessarily created to be a specific race. You know what I mean? Like, the race isn't really the defining point, defining characteristic of, who they are in a lot of. So the fact that they might have been created as a white guy initially doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be white, or the fact that created as whatever initially doesn't necessarily mean they have to be that. Like, a lot of times they just, there as, they're going to have somebody, right? But it's not that the character is defined by their ethnicity. You know what I mean? So, like, you change a skin color of a character, or you have a different actor that plays him this time. 99% of the times, it's literally not going to matter because the race was never the defining parts of that character. Like, now, of course, when race is an important part of who that character is and so on and so forth, then, yeah, you can't just go swapping a race around because now it's a completely different story as to, who they are and what they're about. And it changes a lot about that character. But yeah, vast majority of characters that are created, they just happen to be white. They're not necessarily have to be white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, it's not an issue. Most times, not an issue. But yeah, like you say, Sweet, like sometimes it is just like, oh yeah, let's try and score woke points and then whatever, man. Make a good movie. That's a thing. And that's the thing, actually. That's the thing. That's really what it comes down to. You make a good movie, nobody's gonna care. Well, maybe not nobody. Somebody's gonna care. But if you make a good movie, right? If you take any movie and you swap out all the races of all the characters, but bottom line is you made a good, solid, well-rounded, put-together movie that was just fantastic from the story, from the acting, from everything. Nobody's gonna be talking about the race swaps. You know what I mean? Nobody. If you make a good, solid film, nobody's gonna be talking about it. If you make a crappy film, everybody's gonna be talking about it. You know what I mean? So that's what it comes down to. Just make a good movie.
Example of that, Like, I can't think of any off the top of my head where they race swapped and it was a good idea and it was still a good movie.
Well, they race swapped Nicholas what am I saying? Nicholas Cage? No, Nicholas Cage is the real person. Fury. Nicholas Fury.
What are you talking about? In one of the
Yeah.
interviews, they've said like they wanted in one of the interviews they said that they like legitimately wanted Samuel L. Jackson to play Nick Fury. No one else
but
can do that role justice.
Nick Fury started. Yeah, but Nick Fury did start off as a white guy in the comics. He was white.
That's fair. Yeah,
They race swapped him, but he did well, right? You know, he owned that role.
Oh,
Nobody's talking about that.
I can't think of one bad role that.
But that's my point. Like, if you do something and you do it well, then it's like people don't care, or at least vast majority of people don't care.
I think it depends on the character, right? For example, like Nick Fury is not one of those characters that's on the same level as like Tony Stark, for example, right? Of course, you know, I'm not saying that you shouldn't ever do it, but what I'm saying is when it's done, it's usually done for malicious reasons rather than a genuine reason. For example, if you take a character like Batman, Superman, somebody that's already known for this specific appearance, or even if we want to flip it and say like Dragon Ball Z, there's been talk about Dragon Ball Z if they actually do a live action movie that works for once. You know, if they, you know, are we going to stick with you know, Goku being Asian or having an Asian appearance, even though he's an alien? There's all that debate or whatever. But the main point is that there are key features that people expect. And when you flip it that drastically, it's like you have to have a good reason. But from my experience from watching these films, like 90% of the time is not done for good reason.
Yeah.
Also, all right, sorry, go.
The only other one that I could think of was like Loki from Ghost in the Shell. That was Scarlett Johansson's role.
Oh yeah.
And like that, her name is literally a Japanese name, but you're like a Danish white woman. What's going on here? Like, did someone forget to name you properly? Are you adopted? What happy?
Here's the thing though. Like, this is another reason why I feel like a lot of race swapping talk, especially when it comes out of, you know, it tends to be certain groups that bring this stuff up. But here's how I feel like a lot of it's just bullshit. It's like, so you know, they've announced the live action Legend of Zelda, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a few cast members picked already. Got Princess Zelda and Link picked already, and I think they've got a few others, but they're not fully confirmed yet. Yeah, you basically got, you know, two white people playing those roles. Ain't nobody said nothing about it. Ain't nobody said a damn thing about, oh, we gotta stick to the original. You know, we gotta go to the original source material. Ain't nobody said a damn thing about it. So, like, I mean, and by the way, speaking, I don't care that is two white guys. I really don't care. But my point is that you're not hearing a peep out of all this stuff about you got to stick to the original when the race swap goes in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, it's just like you're making a movie, and if you think about storytelling just in general, like you brought up Snow White. Snow White is like a folktale that's been around for like hundreds of years. And it's had so many different versions over the years, like literally different versions from different people from different parts of the world. And that's storytelling. Like, that's what people do for hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. You tell a story and then you tell a story again and it changes. You tell a story again and it changes again. Like, we've been doing this for such a long time. Like, to me, it's not an issue. It's like it's a non-issue that somebody's telling a previously told story, but telling it a different way. It's what we do. It's what people do. It's what people have been doing for hundreds of, maybe for thousands of years of storytelling. We change things, whether that's a character, whether that's part of the story, whether that's part of the plot, but something changes, you know? So, like, it just feels like we complain, or I say we, like people, like we complain about stuff that literally has been going on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's going to happen for probably the rest of storytelling future. Anytime a story gets told and gets told again, it's going to get changed. The difference between now and, say, the, you know, Snow White days is that now it's very easy to just go back and find a story that you like. You know what I mean? If you like this particular version, you can just go get the DVD and watch that. Back in the Snow White days, if you liked a particular version of a story, you're not going to hear that again. You know, that person died 100 years ago. You're not going to hear that version again. But now it's like, if you like this particular version more than that version, you can just get it on DVD or whatever. So the time we live in now feels like it facilitates the people who like specific versions, yet will complain. It's like, oh, it's not this, it's not that, they changed that, they changed this. It's like, yeah, it's what people do. It's what people do. But I just find it interesting that as much as people complain about race changes, nobody's complaining about this particular one. That's just my 2 cents.
Because we haven't had I know we're like jumping way far away from Ironheart. So
A
that
little
we
bit.
haven't had a
Little bit
new
off
Bond
topic.
yet. What's that?
Yeah, just a little bit off topic.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah, I think it's interesting because there was so many talks of like, oh, who's the next Bond man? Like Daniel Craig stepping down. Who's the next Bond? Who's the next Bond? It should be Idris Elba, blah, blah, blah. And there was such an uproar because they're like, Idris Elba could never be Bond. And I'm like, eh? Why not? And it's just silly because they're like, Bond has to be a white guy. He's British intelligence. I'm like, do you see my friend over here? He's a dark man. He's also living in London. It's very possible he relocated there. It's okay. There are many people residing in multiple parts of the world, you know? So, I mean, I'd be okay seeing like a different person of color of male playing James Bond. Personally, I would be very insulted if it was a woman. I don't want to see a woman
Jane
as
the blonde.
Yeah, right? Like, if it's going to be James Bond, like, no, just retire the name and make a new spy chick. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me that you would completely trash it just so it's like, oh, a 007 is now a woman. It's like, couldn't she be like
They did that
008?
actually in one of the movies. That has happened in, I can't remember which movie it was, but one of the James Bond movies, 007 was a woman for maybe like 30 minutes or something like that, and then it went back to Daniel Craig. But yeah, the 007 has been a woman for at least 20, 30 minutes of one of the movies.
But she wasn't like completely from start to finish the titular character, is what I'm saying. Because like it just, you know, maybe it could be 008. Put another 8 in front of it, boob. So I'm just.
Or 8008, even better.
8008. Oh God, who ate 008? Got it.
Well,
Oh,
someone yeah. Calculator upside down. This is old school now, but there's one where that's the thing about modern technology. You can't do these things, but back in the day, it's like it was like you put a bunch of calculation numbers in the calculator, and then you turn it upside down, and it reads boob.
You can still do that on your phone.
Yeah, no, because your phone's got like smooth numbers. It's like back in the old calculate days, you know, the LCD ones where it was like, you know, like you turn. What was it? I think it was like
it won't look like that. It says boob.
Yeah,
you don't like it like that. You want it to have that actual thing.
Right,
I have a calculator, and my calculator's at my vanity because I was doing some math over there, and I was like, oh. Yay! My kid's like playing with it too. I'm like, what's 1 + 1, baby? And he's like, it's silly. Anyways, that is a great sidetrack. You know it's a window. Have I showed you that?
Oh, your window.
No. So you get 1 + 1, and then you have the plus sign. So if you put 1 here and then you draw the plus in between it, it makes a window with the equal sign as the top and bottom. So you just layer it all together and then you get a window.
Okay, so you have to put it.
Yeah, you have to like literally draw it together. It's silly. So yeah, Ironheart.
Ironheart, yeah. So we talked a little bit about Ironheart. Let's see. Is there anything else about Ironheart that we need to cover? Because we've talked about, I believe, most, if not all, the characters. Talked about the story. We've talked about, you know, some of the gripes, right? Is there anything else you guys want to bring up about Ironheart that we haven't mentioned or already? Sweets, Celeste. Anything that we need to mention that we haven't mentioned?
I feel like we went over every plot point and everything.
No, I'm pretty solid. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, I really wish that we had a little bit more Mephisto action with the whispers, like kind of like in Jessica Jones, he would come up and like whisper into the ear, and then we could kind of see like the veins grow a little bit more. But I just think it was just so teased at the end, and I think it was just so late for that cape thing. And I don't even know what happened to the cape at the end. Like, is it burned to death? Is it because she's got it? It's just like he's like, I'm like, oh God, what a pussy ass way. God, you're so cool, and now you're just a dude with bad scarring and bad tattoos. Shit.
Yeah, I guess I mean, I got the impression that Mephisto isn't fully done with Parker. I mean, by the time it got to the end, it kind of felt to me like that's not it for Parker. Like, I don't think Mephisto's fully done with him. But
what do you think he took? What do you think he took of Parker?
I guess it was taking his sanity. I don't know. Like we because he says, well, it's something you'll never you wouldn't even notice. But of course, we see like the scars coming up that he's trying to cover with the tattoos, and then getting crazier and crazier and crazier. But now that Mephisto is out of his life, at least ostensibly out of his life, he seems pretty okay. But then, I mean, he goes to the shop asking for magic, so I guess he's not fully okay. Like, he's asking for like powerful magic. So I don't know. I mean, I get the impression like there's more for Stowe and Parker in terms of like their deal, you know. But whether we see that play out or not in a potential season 2, I guess that waits to be seen. Certainly, it'd be interesting to see what he took from Riri, the thing that she won't notice, which will be a small thing, might be a big thing, be a little bit of lots of things. But it's something. Guess we just don't know what it is yet. Oh, here's a question. Actually, here's a question. If you were given the same choice as Riri at the end, so you can bring back somebody like a loved one that's since passed away, but it will cost you something you wouldn't miss. But the thing is, you're not being told what you'd miss. Would you have taken that deal to bring back somebody that's passed away, somebody that you loved from the past? Or would you have taken that deal? Let's start with Celeste real quick.
No, because I would ask for immortality.
So you do it for immortality, but not to bring somebody back?
No, because they're dead. Like, I get it. My grandfather died 2 years ago. It sucks. And then, like, my other grandparents died too. Have I had friends that died? Yes, to unfortunate circumstances such as, like, the plague or their own doing. But, like, you know, what if they come back and it sucks? You know, like, what if they're zombie? Like what if they come back and pull a Daenerys Targaryen with her husband, and you got to murder them all over again? Like, oh God, no. If anything we learned from fiction is you don't bring back the dead. No, immortality,
Right.
please. Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna take, but it's fine. Or I like my choice to like. I wouldn't say immortality because there might be a time and place where I'm just like, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to go to sleep forever. So the choice of like choosing time for death. So if it's like 500 years and I still look as good as I am now, I want that.
So if the deal was you can live for the next 500 years without aging, but you'll take something you won't miss, but you don't know what it is, you'd say yes.
No, that's not what no. I want to be able to choose when I'm going to be off, but I also want to stay looking young.
Yeah, so you won't age, but you just live for the next 500 years.
It's not
or up until when you want to.
Ready. Like,
okay, you live for as long as you so you live for as long as you want to without aging.
Yeah.
As long as you want to without aging, you can take something. All right.
Yeah.
So we got Celeste's a price.
Yeah, but not bringing back someone from the dead. Hell no. No.
Okay.
Like, have you watched Madoka Magica? You don't do deals like that for other people. You got to do it for yourself. Shit. You got to learn from other fictional shows, okay? Just, you can't do that. On top of that, I would probably be like, okay, what you're going to take from me is my memories from my ex-fiance.
Well, that's the thing. You don't get to choose, right? You don't get to choose what he takes. So
well, that's my part. It's like, if you want that, if you want to deal through me, you got to take my memories of like my exes. Like, right, yeah, so if it changes who I am, that's okay.
All right, so Sweet Bundy, would you take the deal of bringing back somebody from the somebody from the that's passed away, but it'll take something, you don't know what it was, but apparently something you won't miss? Would you take that deal to bring somebody back, or would you take a deal for, I don't know, immortality or something else?
I mean, it depends. For me, I would expect a monkey paw situation where you have to be ultra specific and, you know, no loopholes, none of that. I would expect I would get what I want, but not really. And that's why I would be, you know, conversing with him about, like, if he cannot promise me that it's exactly what I want and how I want it. For example, like, you bring back somebody from the dead or whatever, it depends. Like, are you bringing them back in the condition that led to their death in the first place? So now they're just living in pain until they die again? No, I'm not gonna go with that deal. It has to be foolproof, right? And promised for me to even consider it. So yeah, that's my answer, flat out.
Okay, just as long as you're very specific about who you're bringing back, how you're bringing them back, all that kind of stuff, and then you might consider it.
Yep.
All right. I think for myself, it'd just be a flat out no. I wouldn't. Like, I mean, I wouldn't want to bring back somebody who's passed away. I wouldn't want to live forever. You know, I'm trying to think that is there something that I would take that deal for though? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe if it was like a really good cheesecake.
I mean, it's
You
kind
might
of
get
like
me
a
with a really good
whole.
cheesecake, but I don't know. I wouldn't. Yeah, not bringing back people from the dead or immortality or any. I feel like there's certain things that's like that's just a hard no for me. Like, nah.
Would you want superpowers instead?
Oh, that could be interesting actually. Like, if he took something from me that allegedly I won't miss, and I won't know what it, and I don't know what it is because I don't get to choose, but in exchange I get like I don't know teleportation. I think that's a cool. I feel like teleportation is a very underrated superpower, by the way.
Look at
But yeah,
Nightcrawler.
I don't know. I might do it for teleportation.
Okay.
Teleportation.
So we know what you would want. 'Cause it's basically like the whole D&D genie thing, like the one wish. And your game master, they think you know and it's foolproof. They're gonna find one crack in it. They're gonna exploit the shit out of it. So you can write it out on paper, reread it so many times, and just be like, on this day, October 3rd, Tuesday, we want to be able to own a dragon that's 3-headed with wings that can fly over oceans, crawl on land, go through caves, breathe fire that doesn't harm us, have sharp claws that will fight for us, and is fun to be around. Yeah. Like that seems really impregnable. But guess what? The D&D master could be like, oh, that's cool, but you'll get this. That's a really nice dragon. Yeah, that sounds really great. Too bad you're gonna get that dragon in 2055, and right now it's 1960. So
to Sweet Bunny's point, you're gonna be very specific about what you're getting and when you're getting it. All right,
yes.
all right. Wow. I think that might be a good place to wind down or wrap up. Wind down, but you wrap up. This episode of the Uncivilized Art podcast. We talked a lot about Ironheart today. We talked about what we thought of it. So let us know what you think of it. Do you agree with Sweet Bundy? Do you agree with Celeste Orchid? Do you agree with myself? Do you agree with none of us? And I have a complete different. Let us know. Be interesting. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. Hopefully, I'd have this episode up by the end of July. I'm going to try and aim for that means nothing to the people watching this, by the way, because yeah, never mind. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I'm going to try to improve my workflow is what I'm saying. But until whenever, if ever, hey.